What is with the image? Look at the image. We need to understand why it looks like this. All right, let's get right into things here. We have important data just coming out. March CPI inflation lower than expected, 0.1% versus 0.3% to the upside. That was the expectation there again for March. 0.1% increase versus 0.3%. Core inflation year over year comes in downside as well. 2.8% versus 3% print expected there year over year. 2.4 versus 2.5%. So across the board, inflation decreasing on every aspect, really, depending on just hearing in my ear here a couple of different estimates. We'll get to that in a sec. But market back upside here, we were down 2.5%, now back to just 1.8%. But coming off that absolutely monstrous, historic rally to end the day yesterday, we give a little bit back here, but this is going to help things bouncing back here this morning. A number of individual movers to consider this morning as well. Obviously, the focus continues to be on the overall market. Apple downside to the tune of 3%. We have Amazon also on watch this morning to the downside of about 2%. Tesla, another one to the downside this morning, but a little bit better than the rest right now, 2.4% on a relative strength basis. But that's going to help things. Obviously, the story continues to be the overall market here.
Yeah, so good break, Brendo, with inflation in focus, with the tariffs now kind of almost being priced in by the market. We get a 2.4 print on the CPI, the headline number that was weaker or less than the 2.8 that we got in February. 2.6% as well was some of the estimates that the Wall Street Journal was looking for. With respect to the core number, Brendo, we got a 2.8 print, which is below that 3% as well, so not a bad look there. We'll see how the market reacts to this after the bell. Lots to talk about. Several downgrades today for Tesla, Brendo. UBS, Goldman all chiming in. We'll keep an eye out on that. As you mentioned, Apple continues to reel to the downside because we still have not resolved the China tariffs. They're still over 100%. Amazon, as you said, putting Kuiper, the launch of Kuiper on the chopping blocks for the moment, and CarMax reporting this morning, big move down, 7.6% in the red, Brendo.
Yeah, another group that is downside here so far this morning, energy names. Occidental here trying to bounce with the overall market. Huge move to the upside for a lot of these CVX looking very similar. I'm just reading here, U.S. Supercore CPI inflation data year over year, 2.86% versus 3.78% on the prior print. So that's a huge decline. Again, 2.86 from 3.78% on the prior print there. U.S. Supercore CPI month over month, a full negative 0.25% print to the downside on that. So that's going to help things out a little bit as well. We heard from Fed Chair Powell going back to last Friday. I mean, he didn't really say anything, but it was more just, let's see what happens. Let's see what the data says.
His job's just gotten so much harder here. I mean, like, he already had to deal with persistent inflation that had been hanging out from COVID. Now he has to deal with the onslaught of tariffs. So we'll keep an eye on that. We've got some jobs numbers as well, Brendo. Government data, economy remains solid. Employers added about 228,000 jobs in March, roughly twice the number added in February and January. So the economy seems to be resilient. I mean, we've got a lot of headwinds with tariffs, but the core number is coming out decent.
Yeah, it's impressive. I mean, the continuing claims number downside as well, 1.85 million versus 1.91 million on that. So right across the board, as you said, still some underlying strength there. That number, 1.85 million on the continuing claims. We're giving it back now, back to about 3.5% here for Tesla to the downside, guys. What a day we're coming off of.
Good morning, everybody. Look, it's one of those, I don't know.
Our stream got tariffed.
Something like that.
Yeah.
At least 30 to 40% on the
The market's tanking now, by the way.
Well, you know, that was a good number. I guess we don't like that, do we? We should, but it doesn't really matter. I think a lot of people will be looking more forward to the next inflation print over this one, but it's hard to argue with it coming in light, being it's a good thing, but the next number is probably going to matter more. It was a historical rally yesterday, so obviously the ranges today will be so vastly different from anything out of the norm, that you just have to, like, you're down 3.6%, but it's not like your average down 3.6% for like Apple, let's just say. The NASDAQ's 2 1/3 or something like that. Because we had 20% rallies across the board, it's almost, I don't want to say you throw that away, but you have to look at like where the gaps were on a lot of these charts and try to respect how massive they could be. And filling in the gap is the thing that I won't be saying much for the whole thing, because nothing's getting back to those bottoms. But we're actually breaking some of these, or attempting to break some of these lows on that hot print. I think this is one where you're going to have a little bit of patience. For sure, I do have some ideas to short China, or at least Alibaba out of China. But Apple about to take the bid. What's interesting is the Chinese names are actually up and holding their highs today, which I'm a little bit skeptical of. Across the board, they're all looking relatively green. Just a little bit skeptical about that, but we'll see.
Yeah, we did get that better than expected inflation print there from CPI, so that seemed to have helped out the market a little bit. But now we're all the way back. So there it is right here. Nice move up to 18.9. Almost took down 19,000 here. Boom, falling right back in. So there's pre-number upside. It was a pretty good move, right? Almost up there. Almost 100 handles, now coming right back in. See if we could support this. We're still underneath VWAP. I'm actually looking to dip buy today. What a wild day yesterday was in the market, the second biggest day ever. You know, the Dow Jones just put up 2,900 points, so not too much going on there. Gold as well today, back to the upside. So I think you could continue sort of the gold buying here. We talked about that dip, and that you actually got an opportunity. We talked about this with Brian on Tuesday, where we got an opportunity to dip buy into gold, and I was asking him about it, and he was like, nah, we don't like that, but there it is, gold upside as well. Look, yesterday, if you were bullish, you look like a genius. The real call is going to be what happens today, right? Names like Google on my mind here, holding above 150 now. Is that going to work out, right? The liquidity not great right here in the pre-market. And then Tesla, you know, with that huge 22% move yesterday, what exactly do we see today? Because here's Tesla getting right back up into past support and resistance areas of 280. Like, you know, it was a great level there when we broke it, and now it seems to be a problem to break a little bit higher. So we're just going to have to wait to see where this market wants to go. You know, nothing's fixed per se, but it's nice to get the the trade talk going again. And we're still well under where we were. I think it's we were at 5,700 on the futures, I think, on April 1st, and then April 2nd was tariff day. So we're still about, like I was saying there, we're still about 200, 300 handles points away from the ES where we were on that April 1st and then April 2nd before the tariff. So we didn't get it all back, but hey, it's nice to get something back, and we'll just move on from there. But yeah, Microsoft shelves $1 billion Ohio data center plans. That's
pulling
not good
back
that's
on
not good.
CapEx.
That's not good for Donald, right there, or making America great again. But whatever, that's just a story I just read randomly right there. So Microsoft down 2%, not really getting hit too much on that one. You know, and where did Intel close yesterday? Okay, so still 2050 here. Oh, Andy Jassy right now. Amazon is on CNBC right now, 186, 187. But hey, look, it's going to be a good one. Congratulations to the Maple Leafs who win yesterday on my guy Matthew Nye's hat trick in overtime. We actually talked about those great odds. We saw them at plus 178 or something on ProfitX, and that was absolutely huge. So make sure you do scan that QR code below. Thank you for everybody's patience earlier today. Stream is up, running. You know, we should be good to go here, and it should be what's basing out to be another exciting day, because I mean, the market just broke below the lows again. So as you can see right here, so now we're starting to get lower. NASDAQ, I think we've just become, Neil, like now accustomed to this volatility. Like the NASDAQ down 3% now. I'm like,
Desensitized.
yeah, good word, desensitized. I'm just like, oh yeah, the NASDAQ's down 3%. Like, no big deal. Like, I guess it's not moving that much. And it's like 2-3 months ago, we'd be like, the NASDAQ's down 3% to start the day. What is happening? We got to hide your kids, hide your wife, all this kind of stuff. And now it's just desensitized is a great word there. So bank earnings tomorrow should be exciting. JP Morgan finally got back into positivity for me, and now it is back underneath as we go down another couple percentage points. So banks tomorrow. Probably should have just got out of it all yesterday and not worry about holding anything. But
well, if you're like, I can see why people swinging would just be like, okay, let's just take a step
you had
back.
a great opportunity yesterday.
Yeah, if you were swinging stuff long, it's like, okay, take your profit. But as you say, earnings, there was an earnings name this morning, and unfortunately for CarMax, you're going to find them down testing support. So anyone that trades Carvana, you're wondering why it's moving around a little bit differently from the futures. Well, I guess the futures are coming down now. CarMax with a report, they're down 7%, and Carvana down on sympathy to that. So they can be on watch, although it doesn't do a ton of volume.
IWM.
Good luck.
All right, we're just keeping an eye on Andy Jassy there, still speaking on CNBC. Amazon was actually moving around there as he was making some comments. There is a few different angles for Amazon today anyways. The AI side we can talk about, but Chinese sellers on Amazon are warning that price hikes are coming right across the board for the U.S. market specifically, obviously because of the tariffs. So anything you buy on Amazon that comes directly from China, get ready for that to be a lot more expensive in the near term. Here's 2.5% right now for Amazon. I mean, one of many that are going to be affected here.
Absolutely, Brendo. And we kind of had to expect this. I mean, I know personally I was. And they also removed, or Donald Trump, that is, removed the de minimis rule, which allowed a lot of products to come in from China that were priced under $800 free of tariffs. And Amazon obviously looking to get into that business to take on Temu and Shein as well. So that will definitely hurt that side of the business. All separately here, Kuiper, which is their kind of response to Starlink, that is, to place these low Earth orbit satellites so you could get internet. That was scheduled to launch today with, I believe, the United Launch Association, the ULA, the United Launch Alliance, excuse me, and they declared a no-go for liftoff. So we're going to have to wait to see exactly when they launch again. SpaceX, just to give some comparison here, Brendo, has about 8,000 satellites already in space, and they were looking at launching here a couple of 27 Kuiper satellites. So a big variance between 8,000 and 27. So a long way to go.
That's that map they have on their website is crazy, where you can actually spin the globe and see where they're all located. And it's just like a blanket around the globe. It's crazy. Apple downside as well. I mean, we hit on this a little bit yesterday. We were talking about, I forgot how many planes there were, but a whole bunch of planes coming out of China full of iPhones ahead of the tariffs coming into effect. Totaled 1.5 million individual devices.
Insane.
They took out of there to be able to sell, I guess, with skirting these tariffs and not being able to have to eat that cost.
600 tons, Brendo, airlifted, not freight, not on trains, not on boats, in the air.
They're very important.
Yeah, clearly, right? I love my iPhones. No, seriously, guys, 1.5 million units shipped from India to the U.S. in an effort to front-run the 125% tariffs on Chinese imports. The U.S. currently imposed only a 26% tariff, Brendo, on Indian imports, which is currently obviously paused for 90 days, making the Indian assembly significantly more cost-effective. Analysts are warning, though, the warning signs are already come out that if we implement these over 100% tariffs on Chinese imports, we're looking at a $1,600 iPhone, US dollar, becoming $2,300. And if you listen to Danny Ives, they produce them in the United States, it'll be $3,500.
Yeah, so $5,000 here, something like
that
in Canada, good old Canada. Apple downside here right now, guys, to the tune of about 4%. So obviously, I mean, the one thing that is for certain is that nothing is certain at this point.
No.
The one thing that's certain is nothing is certain. At least with the markets, there's some certainties in life. You know, I'm not going to get all sappy. I say the same thing every single time, so you guys know. You guys know what's up and what is good. But Apple, I was actually thinking pop fade on Apple today because that August low was the 200, and we went double top 200 on Apple. you were probably not going to see 200 at this point. Not the way that we're actually falling back in here, but you went double top on the 15-minute at the $200 level with that late rally, and then you go back to that August low where we bounced off of 2. I just felt like it's kind of a logical spot where anybody that's been doing that recent buying, if they didn't take profit before, we get up there again, and I think that would have been a level to fade. But Apple wasn't necessarily on my list of, hey, what do I like to dip by? I mean, you're unresolved in China, obviously, and I think that's going to weigh. We've seen how that can weigh on Apple more than some of the other names. It was more of a, I want to look for fade levels on Apple up near those tops. If we don't get anything up, we don't get to 200, which it's $9 away. These days, that's very possible. If we don't get anything like that, you just have to look for things like VWAP, which is a little too tight, and then pre-market highs at 95 level, where we initially topped out could be something as well. But I'm not really thinking the long on Apple.
Yeah, I mean, we've been coming up into these levels again. I mean, I was just talking about, how we're still underneath where we were on that, April Fool's Tariff Day type of thing. And yeah, $200 looks pretty good to me to get short, but at the end of the day, all of this action up here into 195, if we can get anything short into 195 today, anything higher than that, obviously we would be short already. But, there's VWAP right there, 193. Looking at that, honestly, looking at some of these levels from the pre-market, see if they can hold. But right now, I mean, Apple's telling you what it wants to do. It wants to get lower. 4% is a nasty day for Apple. Like I was just saying, we become desensitized now to some of these moves, but that's not good. I said that yesterday, right at the close. I said, wouldn't be surprised, and I don't know, I just picked 2%. I said the NASDAQ be down 2-3% tomorrow. And I mean, we come in and we're down 2-3%. Apple's down more than that. Apple's been hit more than the market. So this makes sense. So yeah, this is a short for me, for sure. Up here, 193, 194. In this area, we're going short on Apple. That's a great move there at the end of the day. Okay, that's nice to see. Like, where did that even come from? As imbalances hit, we were long Apple for when this happened. We actually were long the market, and it just got to the upside. So Apple and the market, I guess, a little different these days. But at the end of the day, 193, 194. I still think it's a short. That's nice. They're bringing in all these iPhones, but what does this mean for future production? Like they're not going to be able to keep the price where they need to be competitive. So we're going to have to wait to see what this means for the iPhone 17 release. Is it delayed now until they can find better cost structures? And I don't know, but I still think pretty negative here about Apple. I don't think we're through anything yet. So I'd be short 193, 194. It's going to be a play there on the sticky note today, but I don't know. I mean, the CPI number came out better than expected, which is a little bit
here we go.
Interesting. I'm surprised we fell below that level. So if we're looking at that, I mean, that's 192. Remember, we do have the imbalances still to come. I think we may or may not have Luis Barbato at some point. I don't think it looks like it today, but it's not very active here this morning. Ford's with a sell. We have a story on them. We'll probably talk about that. Carnival Cruise Lines is a sell, whatever. We've talked about cruise lines, and we had a huge move in the what is Carnival even doing today? We had a huge move yesterday in the airlines. Of course, Delta was up
down 3,
monster. Yeah, CCL down 4 as well. Pfizer tried to get going. That's a little bit of a bid, but these numbers are so low. Yesterday, NVIDIA did 500 million shares. Pfizer right there, 78,000. Look at this downside as well. So everything's starting to head down, guys. And yeah, it doesn't look like yesterday's rally will be holding, at least early on. We were up 12. That's great yesterday, but now you're down 3. So 12 minus 3. I wish it was a plus, but for right now, we'll have to hold our hands. And
it's kind of like when we have like a big, when 2 or 3 used to be big down. If you came in the next day, or and you were 1/4 of that move, you wouldn't really think it's that big of a deal. It's weird to be shrugging it off. Like, that's how I feel until we get a direction at the open. It just feels like it could be a very, very normal profit-taking dip. But, you never really know. We're going to find out at the open.
The market's going to go lower. Nothing really. It's just a 90-day pause. We have to wait for more stories about this. So,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, working on the list. It'll be out momentarily. And it should be another exciting day to trade.
Oh, yeah.
All right. You had a few data points that were kind of interesting when it comes to what happened yesterday on the historic side of things. I mean, it was just such a instant, just absolute explosion right across the board. It really didn't matter where you looked. Energy, consumer staples, I saw had a massive day in the afternoon as well. I mean, a lot of people focused on tech, rightfully so. as the guys were just saying, Apple continuing to melt downside here. But go through some of these. I mean, they're pretty impressive.
It was really interesting yesterday. So obviously, Sean prefaced this as well as yourself. The NASDAQ jumped 12%, guys, yesterday. It's second best day ever and the strongest since January 2001 during that dot-com crash, Brendo. But the pattern matches prior bear markets. So 22 of the 25 of NASDAQ's best days occurred during the dot-com bubble, the great financial crisis, and the COVID crisis. So these days, these fantastic up days tend to happen during overall bad times. So just keep that in mind. The tariff relief obviously triggered the rebound. Trump's 90-day tariff rollback to 10% for most countries sparked a rally. China, though, excluded here, Brendo. Tariffs raised 125%, increasing, obviously, the geopolitical tensions that already existed. And just to give you some context here about some of the worst months we've ever experienced on the NASDAQ, October 1987, minus 25%. November 2000, obviously that dot-com bubble crash, 23% in the negative. March 2020, obviously COVID, a lot of people remember that, 10%. The current rally fits that dead cat bounce playbook, especially amid deteriorating fundamentals and policy uncertainty. And a lot of analysts saying expect volatility ahead, especially in tech, autos, and the tariff-exposed sectors, and also keep your eyes on rising yields. The 10-year back to 4.38, adding that to that macro headwind, so keep your eye on that, and the upcoming earnings season should give us some clarity.
Yeah, everyone's saying, or a lot of people saying this morning, one of the biggest reasons this happened yesterday was because the bond market was reversing so incredibly fast. So we'll keep that in mind, I think, going forward. As you mentioned, there's a few positive names this morning as well. That's XPeng. Specifically the EV names, but Chinese ADR is showing a little bit of relative strength here. Better part of 4% for XPeng. NIO is similar to the upside, 1.5% in positive territory as well. So it's going to be one of those days. I mean, it's one of the key features and one of the key characteristics of a bear market that rallies get sold.
Exactly.
We're in a downtrend. Rallies get sold. So until that's not the case, we'll probably continue lower, guys.
Yeah, well, it's the Chinese names, specifically the stocks, anyways, that I'm the most skeptical about on this move up that we're holding overnight. What was also a bit interesting, I expected a little bit more volatility in some of the overnight ranges. When I pull up most of the stocks on Blue Ocean, it ended up being a fraction of what I was expecting, to be honest with you guys. And I don't know, like I could see us having more of an inside day and a little bit less volatility than we're used to based on some of that. So I talked about BABA, and I'll get there in a quick second, but NIO and the Chinese names are in a group where if you look at the prior, like these past few days, like this week's highs, we didn't get through those. So like they have resistance from the week. And if you look at any chart from yesterday, and I mean literally any chart from yesterday, if it had a resistance level on the week, it broke it and it destroyed it and it went through it. So with the case of NIO here, like I look at it, that's selling at the 350 and the 355, and it's a similar thing with Alibaba up here. If this gets into the 110, maybe a little further away in Baba's case, if it continues this rally, this to me is a place where I don't want to be dip buying. I want to be shorting into that top. It looks like NIO might be closer to the level to Alibaba, but both of them. Just look at that spot from Monday where we made those highs, and that's where I would want to be shorting into on both those two names. Just a little skepticism when it comes to that group.
Yeah, I was just going to talk about the FXI here. We do have, I was going to look to see if there was an imbalance. No, there's not. So yeah, hit pretty good, right? Down to the 200 period moving average. It's there right now. We do get that bump up yesterday. We just talked about China and Apple and, this market coming back in here. There's a lot of traders that don't trust the Chinese market. But for an investment, but as far as a trade, it's been a good one, right? You had that bounce off the 200 period right there. We've absorbed the 200 period right here. We got under it for 2 days, and now we're back above. So for me, it's a long right here at 30.50. If we're able to buy this, again, you buy 30, between 31 and 30, and you just hope that yesterday's 29 holds. Now, again, this is going to be one of the bigger data points to look at if and when we ever get some sort of an announcement, right? Like Trump could come out today that there's been some sort of a negotiation here with China, and then maybe this pops. And we've seen where it can go, and we know how the retracement that's available there. This is 20% back to the upside, right? So it's fallen very similarly to what the Nasdaq's done. And again, I just think that there's a lot of opportunities, just some green shoots here. Right now everyone's pointing the gun over there at China. We just saw Apple, shipping, was it 600 tons or something of iPhones? So it's just a matter of as everyone regroups here, what's the comeback for China? They don't want to lose all this production. They don't want to lose all this as the United States looks to go through another industrial revolution and bring back so many jobs. That's obviously going to affect the Foxconn and for Apple, and China's going to get hit for that. I think there's going to be a deal made. I think right now, obviously, it's just a matter of pointing at each other. And, at some point, this FXI gets back to the upside. And if we're just going to use standard lines and what we've been watching, there it is right here. It's a 200 period moving average. It's right here on the 5-minute chart, and it's right back in between 31 and 30. So that matches with me on what we're doing here on the daily for FXI. So if you think China is just a matter of, the next deal that has to get made, and I think that's what it is, then I believe it will work. So I'm long China. I'm not, but I think that if it does come back into $30, I think that's a decent buy there. So yeah, I don't know. It's not really a hedge against anything because I feel like when and if there is something that's done here with China, you'll also get a huge move back up in the NASDAQ. So I like the space. You already talked about Alibaba. We know Munger really loved that stock, and it made its move up to 150. Yeah, now back down to $100 again. So yeah, I mean it's ebbs and flows in this market.
Pay yourself in this market, that's for sure.
Yeah, make sure you get out when it's necessary. But again, I think there's going to be a decent not a decent sell-off, but definitely some profit taking here early because a lot of people that weren't able to, but maybe thought about a day two push, didn't get that today. So if you were long at any point yesterday and you're still holding overnight, I just wonder where your pain point is and where do you stop getting out and maybe where do we start buying the dips again. So Tesla right now people looking at. So yeah, I mean there's lots of stuff happening. We are going to make sure we go through our rundown. So scan that QR code right now on your screen. Get our watch list, get all of our notes as we run them down for you. Put your questions and everything like that in the chat. Make sure you hit the like and the subscribe. I mean, it's a half hour. We got CPI. We're going to have news, bombs probably all day. So get ready.
There's a lot of Fed speak today.
I saw that on our note as well. And again, download our watch list. You'll get all the rundown there. Who's speaking when and why, I guess. Why?
Well,
maybe not why.
To hear
maybe
themselves.
What. We'll hear about what.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's their job, I guess. I wonder how much these Fed guys get paid anyways. But
they get paid after. I think they get paid after the fact. They get paid after the fact. Yeah. But I'm sure it's probably, my guess is they're modest while they're there, and they probably made good money to get to where they are and make some serious money after the fact.
They're already stepping into that role well equipped.
I would assume so.
I would say. Okay, 9 o'clock hitting right now, so dark pool's going to hit. We'll get the imbalances going, and we'll throw it back to the desk.
Just reading through some of these inflation data points, shelter actually downside in a pretty big way here. 3.99% on a year-over-year basis. That's down from 4.25%.
Wow.
The lowest since November of 2021. So that was one of the points that was kind of sticky for a long, long time.
Oh, yeah.
Newsmax worth keeping an eye on here. Wasn't doing much here in the pre-market, very light volume, but there was a court case that was involving Newsmax that we'll touch on, I'm sure, throughout the day, but not moving around terribly much right now. Let's get a look at the overall market here with Sharif.
All right, guys, 54.98, just around 5,500 was the closing print yesterday. That's a marked departure from where we were hanging out just a couple hours prior, 48.75. So here's the deal. We are already well below 5,500. We're already below 5,400. So the overnight low here has taken us down to basically 5,350. So we're going to look to defend that level. We got a couple of bottoming tail candles into that 5,350 area. So if that holds, that'll be support. If we can get above 5,400, we're looking possibly at 5,450. Otherwise, it's a 5,350 support, 5,400 resistance.
A little bit of a range to deal with this, volatility. If you haven't done so yet, make sure you jump down to the description of this video. Top link in the description will get you to the sign-up page. All you need is your email address, and then you get that for absolutely nothing. It's free from us to you every single day. I put tech at the top of the list here this morning because it's one of those days again that led us back to the upside for the most part yesterday afternoon. If we don't see some leadership from this group today, could be in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, and there were huge moves, Brendo, yesterday. Ridiculous. I mean, let's talk about them. NVIDIA, 18.75%. I'll zoom in this for you, Fabian, because I know you're not going to like that. 18.75%. Apple, 15 1/3. Microsoft, 10. Amazon, 12. You guys get it. Tesla was the biggest mover of the bunch, 22 2/3%. But as you can see, right next to all those good numbers are pre-market declines, and next to those are the year-to-date numbers, Brendo. So we've got a long way from the top, but an aggressive tech move yesterday.
Yeah, 4+ here for Apple on the downside right now. There's not much, just looking at a list here, there's not much that's positive, if anything. NVIDIA down 3.5%, Tesla pushing 4% here. So we're going to need something to find some support here at some point, guys.
The tech names need some coffee this morning, because do they not know that we had a record rally? Do they not know that we had a nice CPI number?
Oh, they know.
Come on now.
Oh, they
no,
know.
of course they know. It's tell them that they just don't know. We talked about Apple already, so I won't go back into the Apple at 200. Although, if I'm doubling down on that number, I was going to mention Amazon. Amazon, I don't think it gets to 200 today, but that seems like a pretty good resistance spot for Amazon. I actually like Amazon for more of an over-under look today. Like if the opening range holds under 185, I think you're attempting to fill in as much of the gap as is reasonably possible, because I just don't think you fill in the entire gap. It just seems nuts to me. And if we hold above 185 at the open range, I like Amazon for long. So it's dancing pretty much right at that price. There is a name that I do like for a dip buy in like a standard sense, is if you take away that gap on NVIDIA, like the move that we made on NVIDIA yesterday, you still had the prior day high at 106, and then that works off of what was a key resistance at 106. So NVIDIA I like for a 106 dip buy, because there's a level there that's to play off of. And not a lot of stocks in the midst of this gigantic gap have something approximating that. So NVIDIA at the 106 area, at least I'll be looking to pick something up on that one. The others, like Amazon for me, over under, wait for it to side off 185 and just be willing to play trend off either one of those directions, because it's pretty much at the key price, and I want to see what it does first.
Yeah, I'm just writing the note now, but my number one play on there is going to be Google. So I have Google as a dip buy opportunity. I mean, what a rally there off of lows. I mean, Google's one of the names that's been hit pretty hard through all of this, right? And again, we know all about the tariffs. Google tariffs. I think most of us are worried about the AI aspect here with Google. How far back is Gemini? What's going to be going on with AWS versus their cloud, Microsoft's cloud? Is it potentially a crowded cloud space? And, search, right? Search revenue. So, yeah, a lot of worries here in Google, but again, look, we're only down 1.73%, right? As opposed to some of those other names. We showed you Apple was down 3-4% as we go. So Google right now trying to bounce back a little bit. Didn't get hit too much here this morning. I mean, a nice move. Obviously, we closed, nice yesterday, all the way up here at 159. But it's this kind of consolidation area that I'm looking at. If we can dip buy into 153 is what I have written down here on the sticky note. It's a dip buy opportunity between 152 and 153. So I like Google. And then the other play that I have, of course, trading it like a maniac these days, but the NASDAQ. And I mean, the TQs, I written down here, if we can get back into basically the exact same levels. So I'm not trying to rewrite the book here. It's just if we can get back to sort of where, so there's the initial pop, and then we kept on going. So let's see if we can hold some of these initial buy zones. So I am a dip buyer, and I think it can come in. I mean, it got to 48 on this move. Can we push a little bit lower here off the open? $46 to $47 for me is a TQ buy zone. So I'm looking for Google, I'm looking for the TQs, and then I'm also looking for Apple short. So this is the same play. We already talked about this a little bit, 194. So we'll go over China next, but for me, this 194 area, a good short opportunity there for Apple. So Google long, NASDAQ long on dips, Apple short, maybe even right off the open. So we're going to wait to see what happens there, but that's my take on tech. Sticky note out very, very soon. Thank you, Randy, for the refill. The thing about this Yeti is it's still got some good to that. So I'm going to leave this and then go to this because now we get the fresh. It's like a reload. It's like we're reloaded with our coffees.
And you come back to the Yeti later on in the show,
exactly.
and it's still warm.
This is what I'm saying. So we keep the Yeti aside for now.
Keep it flowing.
Only plums today, I saw, Randy. Yes, we can. Please ask Brendan for Trader TV Yetis. I think those would be a great idea, Fabian. So I think that would be absolutely fantastic. Great job on that one, Fabian. Okay, I need to take a drink of something. All right, let's go, man. China and Apple still down 4%. Let's go get the story.
Yeah, I can almost talk about Apple in relation to China at this point, but just keep my eye on Apple here. It did hold 190, a little bit better than some of the other ones, still leaking, but Apple, down better part of 4%. I mean, we can talk a little bit about Alibaba. We can talk about JD. I mean, there's so many different angles here. If you missed it this morning, Andy Jassy on CNBC talking about specifically Chinese sellers on Amazon, warning of higher prices to come in relation to these tariffs. So it's going to go right across the board, no matter what you look at.
And we got Chinese economic data today, Brendo. So with respect to the Chinese company and local consumption, obviously we need to know how their economy is doing in order to gauge how those companies may perform. So China's CPI dropped, much like United States, 0.1% in March, year over year, the second straight month of decline. PPI also slumped down to about 2.5%, the largest drop since November 2024. The market reaction's been, mixed, even despite the deflation data. Equity markets like the CSI 300, the Hang Seng, they're all 1.6%, 3.9%. Respectively, but the yuan remains weak. The onshore yuan and the offshore yuan, those are two different ones because they don't let them float naturally against the US dollar, both down in response to tariffs. So policy response here by the Chinese government has been to pledge prioritization of consumption. So they're trying basically to help allow, to upgrade your iPhone, to upgrade your washer, your dryer, basically, and to expect more of that within the next coming 10 days or so. The subsidies are supposed to amount to about 300 billion yuan, Brendo, which is about $42 billion, give or take.
I was watching the President Trump afternoon press conference from the Oval Office yesterday afternoon again. He was talking or reiterating the simple fact that he thinks the deal will get done with China and that they, quote unquote, want to make a deal. They just don't know how at this point. So.
And I did like how he threw him a bone. He said they're a proud people. President Xi's a proud leader, kind of, trying to get him on his side.
And he'd be happy to have the conversation, and he's waiting for the phone call and yada, yada, yada. So 4.4 here for XPeng. Looks like the better of the group right now.
Yeah, they're all pretty strong. And it was actually pointed out to me in the chat when we were going over Baba and Neo that I was looking at. JD actually looks pretty good in terms of where it bounced from. Look, no chart looks great on the daily chart for a while, but if you look at where this is bouncing from on the daily, it's held 33, now a triple bottom for JD, and then a close above the 200 period moving average. They're used to saying 50. So this one, I mean, I actually like a fade on Neo. I already mentioned that off of Monday's highs, and Alibaba if it gets to Monday's highs. So both of those, I want to short pops into the Monday tops. But this would be a little bit different. I'd actually think if we're all breaking out, if all three of them are breaking out and the space is breaking out, then JD does look like a good breakout play on the daily as well. Like that would be confirmed. But the first thing first, we get to those Monday highs, I'm looking at the other two short. But if that's blowing up, then it'd be JD that I think I would want to join, just based on where the technical support that it's coming from there. I mean, long term, I still hold some of my Alibaba, so it's not like I did sell some because we were breaking trend and all that good stuff. But now that you've bounced, I think for me, it's a wait and see kind of situation before I'd buy any more in my long-term account. I kind of thought we were headed back down into that 80 range, so that's why I was willing to sort of get back in. So I'm not really at the point where I want to buy back into Baba what I sold. But that Monday top is still a place for me to fade. I don't see that coming imminently in at the open because it's a good 5 or 6 points away. More likely that maybe Neo sees 350. More likely that we get something in Apple or NVIDIA.
I'm glad to see this in the chat right here. What's up to Basilicious? What's it like to realize the market is rigged? Well, we've been on the air for 5-6 years now, and that's sort of what we started, or what I started saying 5 or 6 years ago to everybody. The market is rigged. You just got to deal with it. The rich will get richer, and the poor just try to get richer as well. And I'm in the latter fact of that. And all we can really do is sit there and trade, right? I mean, you got to trade what you see and trade what you know. And just hopefully you're not part of the whole. FOMO, or, you just understand that if you are an investor, it's long-term time frame, and if you're a swing trader, you got to play actively off some of this news, because the market's rigged, and it's rigged not in the favor of the common man. So get ready to just realize that, and I'm glad that that's put there in the chat, because I think it's a well-known fact. All right, so here we go. Again, we talked about FXI. We talked about how Alibaba had those huge moves, and now the whole market falls back down in. So the art of the deal, right? FXI is up today. NASDAQ is down today. ES is also down today. Maybe there is some strength here in China. I think something gets done. This is the next shoe to drop. We talked about it on the sticky note that there's like news bombs all over the place here today, tomorrow, yesterday, every day. And I think China is just one of those names that's one of those markets that's going to hit soon. And, we didn't even have a huge move yesterday off of that, I guess, tariff pause, because it didn't really affect China. So we're going to wait to see here, 125% tariffs, all that. You heard what the boys were saying about it. I just think we're on a nice upward trend here for this. And I want to buy dips. So, regardless of what I think about Apple or anything like that, if China does get anywhere into like you said it, between 31 and 30, we have the 50 period moving, the 200 period moving average here on a 5-minute chart in between those levels. So yeah, I think if we can get back into some dip buy opportunities, I like FXI and Alibaba, I think that had a really aggressive move there. So now above that $100 mark. So we are down to what, 98. Yeah, I think that was about right, 98. And then, again, boom, and then whoops, all the way to the upside, $10. Nice move there for Alibaba. So again, I'm looking at all the same levels. Whether or not we hold yesterday's dip buy opportunities around 1 or 2 o'clock, that's to be seen. So I like Alibaba. It's up today. I think you got to be long China until we hear some more news. So China right now is kind of leading some of these tech names higher. Baba's up 1.6%. I don't know if there is. None of the Mag 7s are up, right? So this is the Mag 7 in China. So you can look at yin and yang, things like that. So I like Alibaba.
Inside pretty big weight here, 8% right now. We're coming back into, we're just giving back what happened yesterday. Essentially, it was up more than that at the end of the day. So right back into yesterday's lows on the back of lower than expected results.
Yeah, it was not. It was okay, I guess. The earnings report currently, the guide was a little light, but I know Q4 EPS 58 pennies below 66, so that's a miss. Net revenue was $6 billion. That's up 6.7% year over year. It was in line with expectations, but definitely a bit of a tougher look there. Used vehicle revenue, $4.84 billion. That's slightly below what the street wanted. They wanted $4.87. As we go down and look at the tariff impact, a 25% tariff on automotive imports, which is slated to begin, which began in March, is expanding to auto parts on May 3rd. Automakers like Audi, Volkswagen, my fave here, Jaguar and Land Rover, are halting all U.S. shipments to avoid these levies, but CarMax can benefit from being less exposed to new cars and new import tariffs. Rising demand for used vehicles may boost prices as people stop shipping cars to the United States and newer cars get more expensive.
Yeah, here's another one. STLA, Stellantis, feeling it this morning as well. Almost 9% right now for STLA in the U.S.
Yeah, it's a little bit of pain for them. CarMax, it's not doing enough volume to be a traditional day trade for anybody, but with that miss and the guidance being a bit of a problem for them, there has been some sentiment that, hey, the used car market could be good. That's probably why it hasn't broken down some of those lows. And if you zoom out a little bit on the daily chart, if it just breaks the bottom here at 72, you have a wall at 68 on CarMax. At that point, it'd be down 10%. And it's been showing you the same range since the beginning of January. January of 2024, this stock hit the mid to high 60s. It's topped out at 88 4 or 5 times, and then it's bought back up at pretty much the same price. So if you lose this support here today on the earnings, you throw in the fact that, you know, a lot of people tend to believe that there's going to be a positive impact on used car sales if this plays out the way it is, then 67, 68 on CarMax starts to look good. 250,000 volume, so I don't expect there to be much of a day trade today. And it's part of the reason why Carvana, I think, is, you know, instead of everything else being down 2-3%, it's down a little bit more than that on sympathy. I think you got to watch out, like if Carvana loses the bid on some of that move to the downside from CarMax. But no day trade, just a good level that sets up where you've been able to buy and get a solid return at that 68 level on CarMax.
This morning, a little bit better off than most as far as the automakers are concerned. GM, I noticed, under a bit of pressure here as well early on this morning, but we're back to $9 essentially, bouncing off 9.10 right now, trying to get higher. But what a day for this one too yesterday.
Unbelievable, yeah. I mean, good day. Now we get a bit of a tougher look. Goldman downgrading Ford, cuts the auto outlook amid obviously tariff pressure. So Goldman Sachs cut Ford from to neutral, from buy, citing weaker macro and competitive landscape. The 2025 EPS estimate for Ford has dropped 32% since Goldman added it to the buy list in September. They acknowledge the cost reduction progress and the potential tariff insulation because of U.S. manufacturing is good, and they also see some long-term opportunity in software and services, but they note the short-term cyclical pressure will outweigh the upside. Goldman went on to chime in about the sector in general. They lowered 2025 U.S. light vehicle sales forecast to 15.4 million units. That's down from 16.25 million. And they're also, Brendo, saying that these tariffs, if they remain in the current form, they're going to add about $2,000 to $4,000 per vehicle, with the low pass-through potential due to soft consumer sentiment.
They'll still sell a ton of F1.
They will. They will. They love
prediction.
their cars.
Yeah. Trucks specifically, I think. Ford guys, any thoughts here?
Sell all the F-150s they want, but
no, they can't sell all of them.
well, okay, but I'm just saying it doesn't seem to do anything for the stock price.
No.
So what's crazy about it is like there's so much brand loyalty to the people that love their Fords, which is great. But yeah, I was a little surprised. I didn't know
not enough of those people.
I didn't know there was a September Goldman Sachs buy list or whatever they gave it. I didn't even realize that somebody thought that of Ford. It's just continuously at this point where it's like a value trap, and then it's more of a value trap, and then it's more of a value trap for Ford. Maybe you get some short-term, it's done short-term rallies before, so I guess there could be something if it gets above that 50-period moving average, but I don't really like it, and I don't think I'll be touching it with a 10-foot pole at all. If I'm picking between the two, that's an if. I don't own either one of these things anymore. I did used to, but not anymore. I'd probably look for maybe a trend break at some point on GM, but I think both of these kind of in the doldrums. The difference with GM and why I bring it up is at least it has a very clear, hey, our prior support was at 46, and we went right to 46 yesterday up at the top. So if you happen to be trading it, it gives you a level. I don't really have anything on Ford along those lines. Like GM, at least when it gets to prices, has some key levels that it's respected at 46 and at 48. But I doubt I trade. As I said, I'm probably looking at NIO today, and of course, we didn't even talk about Tesla at all. But yeah, Ford's a pass for me.
Yeah, I mean, Ford's never really a trade for us, but, down 4% seems to be pretty good. We had that bottom there at 850. You can zoom out on the stock as much as you want. At the end of the day, it's holding right now this $9 mark. So I would say you buy $9 on Ford. It seems like it wants to hold that level right here. We talked about stocks coming back into where we were sort of on that move higher. So Ford's right here right now. So I'm going to say it's a short breaking through $9. I don't want to, if I'm going to dip by anything, it's not Ford. Ford's already dipped. and it's already at this level. So now that I look at this and I read the note, like Goldman Sachs downgrading the stock, obviously everything tariff talk is related. And I do want to say this, yeah, it's not, yeah, exactly. I mean, this is what's up to TX Trader here. Yeah, you're right. I mean, that's why I just said we don't trade Ford. Ford is not a tradable stock, day trading, right? And then someone else said in here too, and I got to give shout out to people that love Ford. Yeah, love Ford, but boring to trade. Agree with that. What's up, Trader Leah? Someone else in here said, hey man, what's wrong with Ford? I've had my car for 200,000 miles and never done anything with it. I mean, that's kind of the problem, right? I mean, it's like, it's great to own a Ford, I guess, if you've had that kind of luck. But are people buying new ones? I mean, that's where it comes down to. And we know that everybody likes the F-150, but what else, man? The Mach-E, I mean, they released the Mach-E years, I feel like 10 years ago, and no one's even mentioning that. So, you know, that's the electrified Mustang. You do have some bids here, though, on Ford, so we can wait to see what happens at 9. Let me just go down all the way down to $9. What time is it? 9:22. Okay, we just have crypto to talk. So you can't see it yet, but we'll see if there's going to be any bids down there around $9. To me, that's going to be pretty important and a big level. Now that I see this, I might just smash that short. Where is it? Right here. Okay, so it still is a short right there. Ford does have a sell side imbalance. And look, today, it looks like it's being outweighed a little bit by the bids, the sells are. So the only buy that's of significance there, we got Alibaba down there at 100,000, but 100,000, I mean, that's nothing. Already done 2 million shares there today. My guy BBAI as well, what's that at $3? So that's still that same level as that's always been at for a minute. Not much else on there. Neo, we talked about the car side of things too. So, all right, crypto stable. I don't know if that's...
Well, nothing was yesterday.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, is crypto stable? I mean, hopefully the stable coins. I mean, we need Tether. We need Tether to be stable, and USDC, if those are stable, we'll be fine. But right now, yeah. You know what? I look at where crypto is right now, 82,000. You know, I said yesterday, I think it was to Sharif or something, and I was like, I think, you know, you could probably go in here and start to buy some Bitcoin. I mean, 76, 77, we talked about that. And again, I tried to squeeze Brian Shannon a little bit there. And I was even telling him, don't we like Bitcoin at these levels? You know, and it was hands off until proven otherwise. And looks like Bitcoin just proved itself there yesterday by holding that level once again.
It did.
Yeah, I might have forgot the question mark there on the end of that.
Okay.
Fine. Yeah, I mean, it's flat. There's that. So we're actually heading, or flat-ish. We're actually heading back higher right now. Definitely some support here in the early going anyway, after what happened yesterday. What a move for BTC.
And some positive headlines today. The pro-crypto SEC chair got confirmed yesterday, Brendo, yeah. Paul Atkins. So shout out to him. That boosts, obviously, the digital asset sentiment. Atkins has made his point very clear that he's prioritizing crypto's regulatory framework, working with individuals like Senator Loomis, who praised, his blockchain focus. But to talk about what happened yesterday, so Bitcoin 7.5%, Ethereum 12, Dogecoin 10.7, Fartcoin was up, Brendo, 45.5%. There was $370 million in short liquidations. About 200 million of that were short liquidations in Bitcoin. Bitcoin's open interest rose to 9.65%, indicating what analysts are called fresh speculative activity. And the crypto fear and greed index improved from extreme fear to fear. And that means traders are cautiously watching, but they're looking for a durable bounce, which we may not get.
A durable bounce, I like that. Michael Noss's forever bid on
Fartcoin, unreal.
How come Fartcoin wasn't on the infographic?
Why are we hating on Fartcoin?
Yeah. I mean, you can't big up Fartcoin all that much.
Get those infographics right.
Like, I'm squinting. I'm like, oh my goodness, where's the move on Fartcoin? No, we don't. Look, somebody cares about Fartcoin. People do. Obviously, it has. I don't know what the market cap is. It's large enough that people care about it. But Bitcoin, that great double bottom. And if you're wondering, like, this is a 15-minute chart I'm going to leave up here because I wanted to show the 81 level. But that 74, remember, that's the breakaway high that we had. The consolidation turned into support. Great double bottom there. You got to hold 81 today. I think that's low-hanging fruit to say, but it matters. That's where the support was before we turned down, and that's where the resistance was during this little turn down. So it all starts with the 81,000 level. So that means about 46-ish on IBIT, like that range. I'm looking for like dip reversions off of the 46 level in IBIT. If we lose that bid, then the usual practice of fading Mara, which happens to be exactly at the $12 level where it turned around before all of this, would make sense. So I'm looking at, it's 46, obviously, as I said, but the other way to look at it is the 81,000 level. Like I always have Bitcoin up, so when it gets to 81,000, I know where we're going to be. It's just about 46 on IBIT as I'm looking for the buy.
Yeah, so I was going to say a name that actually looks real good right now, and shout out to everybody that's trading XRP, because right here you have a decent hold on XRP right here near $2. I mean, look how good this looks right now. Honestly, like, you know, we talked about getting, you know, some pro crypto heads now walking around Washington. So that's nice. You know, you had that dip into 150, fine. But that was, again, another breakout spot that just held. So right back into here. Look, you're buying it up today. To buy it up at $2 is a buy. But, you know, at the end of the day, Ripple right here, XRP, looks like it's, and Ripple's the product, of course, XRP will be the coin. We'll just sit down here at 186, 187, where the 50-period moving, the 200-period moving average is green. That's a buy, I think, down here. So I you know, other than BTC, I really like XRP there. So shout out to everybody that's made millions of dollars on crypto, because there's been a lot of opportunity there. That is for sure. Shout out to everybody that's lost millions on NIO as well. Okay, so yeah, I don't even know why I had NIO up there. Oh, I think it's because of the imbalances. Yeah. All right, so yeah, AMD, what a move yesterday, what a move back, sorry, my bad. What a move today, down 6%. I was going to say something show there. Well, I guess it's too late, I already did. But what a move it's having right now. Look at the market. Look at this. Losing the bid right there is AMD. I've written down on the sticky note today that we like Google at 152. So I'm already bidding there. I like the TQQs down there at 46, 47. Already bidding there. I like Apple short 194. Already offering. That's not going to come in now. Wow, Apple just gapped down $2 right there. Good move there for Apple if you're short.
Balance, but
yeah, exactly. These imbalances are already out, so I don't know what's going on right now. The market is getting spicy here right off the open. NVIDIA already bidding 107 for dip buys. So here we go, man, with less than 1 minute left. All my bids and offers are out there. We're getting ready to rock and roll. I think Apple might be the juiciest one. Juicy Apple's always pretty good. You know, this could be the short that we're looking for. We talked about breaking 190. It did that already. There it goes downside. That to me was a punch short. We talked about it breaking the low of the day there. It already happened. Down goes Apple right now. And yeah, not a good open, I feel like, is even on us.
And that's even with a solid CPI number, like we all expected. But IBIT might challenge that 81,000 right away. So we could see that right off of the open. Let's get that bell going here. Brought to you by Worksport, WKSP on the NASDAQ at Dara. Let's ring it on this Thursday. 3, 2, and 1. Let's go.
All right. Hopefully we don't get into too much too early here. We want to let this market settle down. Welcome for this next trading day on April the 10th right now. Okay, so here we go, man. We've got the news ready to go. There's a big buyer on Ford right now at 909, 400,000 shares sitting right there. We'll see what winds up happening with that. NVIDIA bouncing around 110 right now. Goes, where is it? NVDA right there. 110, so nice move into 109. Now a bounce back up. Not much happening here. And then one more look, and I'll see what Neil's looking at. 260 for Tesla right now. So my trades were Google long. We'll wait. Not happening. And the market looks like it wants to go back upside right now, guys.
Yeah, so I mean, so much for breaking that low and getting those dip buys coming in there. I mean, IBIT we did nothing, just held right underneath 82,000. Sorry, Bitcoin held underneath 82,000. IBIT still just chilling out, no range off of VWAP. Not going to rush in. You want to see this start to break away one way or the other. As already mentioned, NVIDIA. NVIDIA is still sliding down a bit. AMD is catching a bit of a bid here. That was a hefty fall by AMD. They're just got to keep an eye on this, because if it fails VWAP, sometimes continuation is really good on AMD. All right, we're starting to head a little bit lower over on NVIDIA. What is going on over in NEO and China land? Yeah, no real pop-up
China
to fade NIO. So yeah, almost everything I'm looking at outside of a couple of chip names is inside of its pre-market range. It's basically just NVIDIA and AMD that are moving outside of the range that I see. So that means NVIDIA dip buy should be the first thing, but a lot can change in a couple minutes.
There's a lot that can change. I'm going to try to dip buy some TQs. Actually, I'm still waiting for, here comes Google right back in as well. Dip buying the TQQs at 48 now, just because, it's going to be a little bit early on this dip buy, but I just want to test it. We're coming right back into the lows. This is the level. We just missed it, man. We're bidding, we'll probably come in. We're bidding 48.15s. It just went down to 26s there. We'll see if we can come a little bit lower. Just want to see what it does here. 1 unit take at 48 if we can get it, just to see if this long wants to print at all today. The market is bouncing around off of the pre-market lows. So we did talk about Alibaba being relatively strong today. It did bounce off the open, and now coming back in. I don't really have any levels for Alibaba. We talked about sort of where we could get in from yesterday, that sort of bump and grind right here that we were doing, grinding and
I don't see nothing wrong with that.
Bumping and grinding, and maybe we'll stop that. But right there, 103, 104 maybe for an area. So we're not really there yet. So NVIDIA just bounces, and so do the futures. So there we go, man.
Walmart's through yesterday's high.
Yeah, the market looks strong right now. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a hefty bounce here in Walmart. Shout out to everyone in the chat mentioning that one there. Yeah, Walmart through 90. What was the? Oh, yeah, not even close. What am I even thinking about? Not even close to that support level. Forget it. But we're clearing out this 90 level on Walmart. That looked really strong and really good. I tried the dip on NVIDIA. We didn't end up getting that. And wow, that is a crazy move on Walmart.
AMD bounced off 91, huh?
I'm trying to think. There's no news on it. I heard a story about XYZ. I couldn't make the entire thing out. I'll have to wait till it hits the wire for a block. But it's not moving on it. That's the important thing. It's Walmart that seems like it's on the run. NVIDIA, which we thought was cruising down toward support from yesterday at 86, all of a sudden you got a bottoming tail candle and it's trying to challenge this VWAP. Yeah, it might not be NVIDIA that gets down there first. IBIT's still tracking near the pre-market low. So 81,000 still going to be in play on Bitcoin. I thought we were trending down toward NVIDIA and the dip buy and the chips coming first, but it could be IBIT in here.
Yeah, everything dipped right into a few great levels. AMD right into yesterday, but we were looking a little bit lower, like 89. Now, I wasn't even looking for AMD, but I'm just saying that was a name that got into those levels again there. I'm surprised I'm not surprised I'm not in anything. We wanted to go a little calmer there today. We did miss the stock that I missed, not Apple. Apple could be coming into a short right now, was the Qs. We missed the futures by 10 cents. We were sitting down here at 48.15s. It goes to 48.30s. Again, just should have been. I was waiting on our note. We had 47 written down, so we thought that we could break that level. But again, just back and forth right now. So let's not worry that we missed anything right now. The market's not doing anything. So we got to just relax. There's going to be individual stocks. But when the NASDAQ looks like this off the open, this is 925. This is 930 right here. So all we're doing is right in the middle. Now it looks like, okay, there it goes. It looks like we're just getting a little bit of a bump now in the NASDAQ. Does that get enough short for us on Apple right now, right? So news to the ground, our ears to the ground for news. We have Adara over there. She's going to get ready to rock and roll if and when anything hits this market. But for right now, it looks like Apple coming into 193. That's probably a decent short. We just missed it. We could get this one. Let's try like a 192.50 here on Apple short.
You said Baba wasn't doing it. It is now. Alibaba just broke out the high of the day. So it is heading toward that Monday high, at least it looks like, up at about 110 in here. I like it into the 110. There was a spike high into 14. That was just a crazy wick, but it's into this 110 to 110 half that we're looking for the fade. But you're starting to come back in. IBIT is now at 46.2. Bitcoin's at 81.3. So we are approaching that 81,000 shelf here, or whatever you want to call it, support level on Bitcoin. So I am going to be locked and loaded looking for the curl on IBIT at that price. We're about a quarter away from it. Everything else kind of holding for it. I don't want to rush into NVIDIA, but it's trying to hold some higher lows. Maybe if it holds VWAP, I could get myself into the NVIDIA long, but it still feels like this is trending down a little bit here. Hold on to VWAP and start going.
Yeah, let's just wait, man. Now we're just giving an alert because we actually have a position on right now. So we're actually short right now on Apple. We're going to wait, right? I mean, we still have that 194 target area. That's what we had written down on the note. It's a nice bump up. So went up to Jay Lee, or I don't even know if you're short, but I know you're mentioning it before. If we can get something here around 193, man, I like it. That's what we're taking right here. The 200 period is right here. I'm going to average into this trade until we do break above 194. I mean, I was looking here. That's 193. That's 194 right there. So I think we can get away from this if it does break higher, and that's fine, right? We want to sort of layer into some of these trades. I did cancel my TQQ bid down there at 48 because I just don't want to be. If the market tanks right now, Apple will do everything it needs for me to do. So right now, there comes the T. Okay, boom. Let's go. We just got a little bid there on Apple. We got 192. We got 192.12s right there on Apple. So we'll take out 5%. Now we'll wait to see if we can get a little bit lower. We're waiting for more. So I'm just not seeing anything hitting right now. AMD, though, Neil, that touched 90. And okay, so, 91, and 90 was the break level that I was kind of looking for. So if AMD can break lower as well, we'll see if that goes. So far, I don't know if you've been in anything. I'm just in Apple.
Not yet. We're at that 46.
There goes Apple.
We're at that 81 on Bitcoin. I'm watching it on 81 change on Bitcoin. It's right around that 46. If we show any kind of a bounce or trend reverse, I'm going long. If it breaks through, I have Mara up, because Mara's about to break the shelf if that happens. And I do like that one short a little bit better. But the market's breaking down for sure. There's no buyers in here at 46.
Apple, what are you doing,
we just broke 81,000. Let's see if we can retest it. It's trying to hold. There's the over-under a little bit. Hold 46. I was just watching spot Bitcoin prices when I should have been watching the level 2 here.
Yeah.
I was watching spot. We just went underneath 81,000, and then came right back above. So I put the bid in, end up getting 05. That's kind of a really bad price. I should have had 1s and 2s, but I was looking in the wrong spot. So we got 5s. Pre-market low is 25 here on Bitcoin, or on iBit, I should say. I keep saying the wrong thing. But I want to work back into VWAP and the pre-market low. If we break this bottom, I'm going to look over at Mara for a potential short. If we hold 81, then good to go on this. Still nothing really happening over in NVIDIA. And I don't know what to tell you. Sometimes you expect there to be like a wild open range on a group of stocks, and AMD's the one that moved, and NVIDIA's not doing much. I guess AMD moved more yesterday. I should have anticipated that, but got to do what you got to do. So we're long in front of 46. If you make a fresh low, we're out of it, but I'm playing out into VWAP here on iBit with a close eye on BTC. Got to make sure you don't break that 81,000 too badly here.
Yeah, no, we are short right now, Apple, which is not working. So we're coming up to that 194 area, so we're not super heavy into this. We'll double our position up right now, and now we'll wait to see what happens. 194.25s, if we 20s, if we break that, then we're going to get out. Our average price right now, 193.20. I think that's pretty good. Obviously, I would have rather have waited for this, but the 200 period was right there. It comes up into our 194. We put up, I mean, on the sticky note, it's 194 short. So my last fill there was the 193.80, which of course is now 80 cents in the money. What am I supposed to do? We got out already we should have just waited for that top, and now we would be $1 in the money. But we'll spin it anyways because this is so far so good. It just needs to come back in a little bit here, Apple. I'm going to start to get a little bit more out here at 193 like we just did. I do have another bid down here at 190. What did I just put that one? Well, 192.94. I don't know why I did that. So we'll wait to see if we do get a breakthrough of Apple down through 193. Then we should collapse a little bit. So that's what we're going to wait for here on Apple. But, you know, we have our 194 target out. We're just getting some out right now. It's a lot stronger than I thought. There's no way I thought that if the market would be at the lows of the day, that Apple would be at the highs. So bang, that's what we're talking about. Every day, it seems like every day we're hustling. Shout out to Rick Ross and company right now. Because there it is, Neil. It is one-time daily goal already met. 1 for 1 on that trade right there. We ain't playing around today again as this market goes downside, and we hit it one more time. Nice move to the downside. Now we'll just sit back and relax, sip some coffee, not cognac. It's a little too early for that one. There it goes, Neil. $1.50 in the money on our posted trade there of 194, but we're only 90 cents in right here, like it's butter, baby.
Yeah, and just like that, I'll tell you, I made a keystroke error on Mara. We did get out of it when I didn't intend to. Kind of went to the wrong stock. but we broke back underneath that 81,000 level. We're still holding it, teetering back and forth, but the stop went at the low of the day. What happened over in Mara, and I'll show you guys right in here, we got into it, and I went to put an order on a different stock. I end up punching out of Mara. I'm just going to try to jump back into it underneath VWAP and underneath that pre-market low. The second it resisted that same level on IBIT, my plan was to short Mara. I did take it, but it wasn't even a bad stop. I literally just punched out when I tried to put an order on another stock. That said, NVIDIA is starting to head back down, and I think we could get a test of that 106 level. It's the only level I really liked on NVIDIA. You're about to break the lows and head even further to the downside here on NVIDIA. I'm going to try to pick Mara back up for that short trade, see if we can't get it closer to the volume-weighted average price. But it's either that or NVIDIA that seems like it's going to set up. Let's go to Adara.
Keep an eye on a small cap here, STSS. Nice push to the upside for Sharps Technology. 25% short float for this small cap runner. Also, Neil, I just saw the message here about Walmart. There is nothing on Walmart. It's a couple of analyst notes, but they're really mixed. Telzy maintaining a buy rating, but no price target change. Bernstein cutting its price target. So that is the deal there with WMT this morning. No economic data at 10 a.m., but we do have Fed speak throughout the day to be aware of. Back to you.
All right, thanks. Yeah, so like I was saying, man, I'm just going to focus on the trades that I'm trying to work with right now. And right here, it's a good one for Apple. The TQs are at that 48 level. We canceled our bids for the TQQs. I don't, if it comes into 47, I'll deal with it then, because right now we've got a huge trade on for Apple. Like, it's a real big one. So here we go. Let's see how far we can get on Apple. It's a really good, I'm going to take some more out. I don't know what else to say other than we've got a big position here on Apple. We shorted the 194. It's exactly what we wanted, and there it is right now. It is your $2 winner from the posted sticky note level. Bang, Neil. There it goes, man. It's a hot dog cannon kind of a day right over here at Trader TV Live. Thank you so much, man. We're setting records, and there's reasons why. There it goes. It's a big move down for AAPL. We've done it one more time here. This has been a great March, a great April. Thank you, President Trump, for the volatility. Now, I don't like the moves down that we've been having lately because I am only long, but right now we are short on Apple and we start to print just a little bit. We're out of half of the trade right now. So, we can celebrate when we have wins because, the losers can just be around the corner. And as we both demonstrate to you, and I hope you can see this, trading is definitely not easy. As Neil just said, you make keystrokes, some days you don't have winners. Some days you have lots of winners. So take it for what it's worth, but make sure you trade your plan, right? And that's why I'm telling you, I've only traded one name today. It's Apple. It hit. It went right to the levels that I wanted to play off of. So that for me is easy day. And there it is right there. Apple 194 short. So we took that trade. It was good to go. NVIDIA long, TQ long, Google long. So those are what we're waiting for. If we can get those, great, but it has to come into our levels. So we talked about being out of half of, here, let's get out of some more right now, out of half of our Apple trade. So let's just bid some more now. As, I don't know, man, the market's at lows and Apple is near highs. So for me, little disconnected right there. So maybe we have the read wrong, but let's just, at the end of the day, let's just get out. Shout out to Jay Lee and all of the traders out there because we've given you, and then we'll work on, and then after that, but for right now, Neil will give you another one.
We'll see. Like I wanted NVIDIA was kind of the level I liked the most, and it's like $3 away from it. So I can't promise it's going to move down, but the other thing that we can get it, the only other way that I take the long in this trade is if it breaks an existing trend somewhere other than 106. I'm bidding at like 30. Oh, I went 33 this time. Anyways, it doesn't really matter. And if we break that trend and close above, then I take a shot off of these lows. But you need to give me enough data points. Like you need to have at least, like now you're at 15 minutes. So you're at least a little bit of a trend, but that's not that big. The other name that wasn't part of the plan, and I always try to acknowledge, hey, if you're looking at something, or if you're not looking at something and all of a sudden it goes into play, have a gander. Walmart was part of the plan yesterday. It wasn't when I set up, but the market's at the low and it's at the high, so I got to look at this one. We liked it yesterday off of, whatever, those levels don't matter. Prior day high is holding a support at VWAP at 90.50. If it closes this candle above, I take a shot at it. That's just how it's going to go. So a little bit of a bounce in IBIT. I got to try to pick up this Mara trade again that we got out of. I'm not chasing it at the low of the day. I'm looking to short it off of VWAP because we lost 81,000 on Bitcoin. I'm trying to pick this one back up at VWAP as we speak. And it is Walmart that came out of nowhere. There's always something that you weren't looking at the open that starts to set up good. And you're about to close the second candle above VWAP. Then we go into the long on Walmart, give it to the prior bar low, which is at 90.5. Coincidentally, that is yesterday's high. No specific news, as Adara said, for Walmart, but it's only up 1%. It was just that the market was down and it was up. That's why I was asking if there was news.
All right, so like I was saying here today, man, I mean, I'm just, first of all, it's pretty freezing right now, so I'm just watching out for the hands over here and trying to sit on our hands a little bit, although we've been getting out. We only have a third left, actually a little bit less than a third. We have about 25% left of this Apple trade. Looks like it's going to blow up, right? We talked about that. If the market was going to go, then Apple being so strong today, I don't know. Although it's equal with the market, since the open, we are just ripping here on Apple. So I am not going to reload this trade whatsoever. It's going to actually come out if we do take out 194.20. That was the level there that we had indicated, and it just ran 194 again. Look, I wish I loved it enough to average it and to tell you guys that's what I was doing, but I'm not. So I don't like it. We've already talked about this. It's moving Oppo right now, so we don't like stock that does that. So Google right here. All right, 157 and change. Again, the trade that I liked was a low dip buy opportunity in that. Didn't really think it got there. We didn't even look at that pre-market low after the CPI number. So we don't even look at that number yet, and right now it's just in the middle, so we got to ignore that. We did talk about AMD being down 6% earlier, and that was a 90 level that, again, like, it's too bad that we are so short on Apple and that we are looking for it, because we talked about 90 right there for AMD. I still think if that breaks, we got to hit that short. So that's going to be a play right there. So there, okay, so I guess, did Apple just ran? I guess Apple just ran 194 there. So we actually get 194.20s exactly. So yeah, so far not so, well, it's fine on Apple, but we our last 25% gets taken out right there. So nice upside move there for Apple.
So a couple of things. One, you will see that I did get back into MAR, and then NVIDIA broke that trend line, so we are into it off of 109, as it just broke trend trying to get to 110 in here. I did try to add in front of 109. But shout out to 4XVIM. Tired of staring at charts all day? Not really. What if a robot could trade for you? Meet 4XVIM. 4XVIM is an AI-powered trading bot that scans markets 24/7, executes trades automatically, and even manages risks for you. No emotions, no guesswork, just precision trading on autopilot. It works on MT4, specializes in gold trading, and comes with easy setup and customer support. Want stress-free trading? Try 4XVIM today. Visit 4xvim.com or click the link in the description box. Click it, as Tariff just said. Shout out to 4XVIM. Well, I mean, if you're a trader, sometimes maybe you get a little bit too much chart exuberance, or you have too many charts up there, or whatever. There's always a chance that for some traders, automation can be the jam. We've known certain traders that did better once they moved to the algorithm, for sure. Just to reiterate, I did mention very quickly before we went into that, we broke that trend on NVIDIA, slight downward trend, so giving it to the prior bar bottom. It's actually above 108.5, but just slightly above 108.5. So if we break this prior bar low, then I'm going to be out. I use a 3-minute chart for anyone that's interested. And then Mara, we got back in. It did this crazy, I mean, I call it a crazy wick, but it's really not that big. It went from 69 to like 76. On the way back, I was trying to pick it up here at 75 again, missed, and then just picked some up at 69, actually 68.5. I hit a midpoint. I did want some in the 70s, and we didn't get it. So I'm going to try and get this offer in front of VWAP. I still feel like this is making lower highs and all that good stuff, and it's a short that I want because Bitcoin is kind of struggling to do anything off of that $81,000 level. And we're still trending down. Whenever I see this setup on Mara, it's like short it till it starts breaking VWAP, and that's it. Alibaba, the Chinese ADRs for me have been nothing. Not near the highs. It's still inside the range. Not much going on here for Baba.
All right, there it is, man. We're into the futures right now. We, we're trying to buy a little bit here off 48. I mean, we made the mistake already. We talked about buying 48, and we didn't do it. We stuck with Apple. So there it is, man. Let's see if we can have these hands today. It's 50 handles. It's now 60 cents. It's 70 cents in the money right now. What a futures trade there, bouncing off of 48.50. We're only out, though, of 30%. So let's wait to see. We just ran VWAP again, but there it is right there. We wanted 48 longs. We're going to bid that as well. Maybe we can get that. I'm going to take another 3% out or so, 2.5%, 3% out if we can get it, because here comes the move right back down in again. So this is what I'm talking about. You want to scalp your way to glory today for sure, because again, looking for news bombs, looking for things to happen in the market. And right now, look at this one candle, right? 49.20 all the way down. So here we go. So here's a move down in again for the futures, right back to where we were. So only out right now of 30% of that trade. Should have got out of more. VWAP 49 right there. We're buying dips, man. We're going to sit here. We're buying 48.15s. So if we get anything down into there, into this level, we'll buy that. That's 48.15. So we'll see. The bottom has been 47.80. So that'll be where we get stopped out. Again, up and down so far here today. I mean, Apple was a good trade until it ran the top, which is still fine. I mean, we basically got out at a level that was respectable for us. So, yeah, so far so good. We do have another offer here on the TQs at 80. Maybe we can get up there and get out of that 3% left. So, yeah, so far so good there. NVIDIA, we can have a look. That was another trade idea that
It just bounced. Oh, good.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, I have my idea down here is at 107. So I know you're long NVIDIA.
Well, here's a distinct difference. As the market's bouncing, NVIDIA off the lows right in here, and making lower highs and failing underneath VWAP every single time. So I just saw them stack up at 109. When last time it bounced, I got 71s and out 92, I think. But it comes right back in. And I just, not moving my stop, distinctly weak. So I reloaded it right in front of the support level, but I'm not going to let it break. The other thing that happened was Walmart. Like, the candles are in, like, Walmart was trending up off VWAP. I'm like, oh, I missed it off of VWAP. And the second it got to the high, I was essentially long a few, maybe like 10, 15 seconds later at the volume weighted average price. It bounced right up to 91.2. Like, it went VWAP 90.70, right up to 91.25, and right back down in just like a minute or so. So you're getting this seesaw price action, and I don't want to be against the grain on something. Like, I'd rather hopefully be something which is making higher lows and all that good stuff. So I did take these legs out into the high on Walmart. My stop is still underneath the prior bar low, but that's going rather cleanly, at least for now. It was Alibaba that I wanted to also get to. Was part of the plan to wait for 110. It's doing the same range-bound stuff. So you can only trade so many things that are inside the range. I expected this would break it out a little bit and maybe head to 110, that or NIO. Neither one of those two things is cooperating by giving you much of a move. And in fact, Neil's not even going up to fade at all.
All right, here we go. Let's hit the siren one more time because we did load up on the futures down there. We're still waiting for a little lower, though. You know, we well aware that this is going to be a very big news day, possibly here as we talked about negotiations, as we talk about some of this tariff. So we're going to be very, very careful. If the futures do come in through this low right there, we're gone. I'm not holding this through the low of the day. So we take a 30 bid, we get some out at 50. But right now, the future is flat for us, looking to see if we can get something going here on the TQs. You know, just as far as trades are going, NVIDIA, Mara, Coinbase. Let's have a quick look at Coinbase here. As Bitcoin,
a monster yesterday.
It's, I mean,
well, everything.
Yeah, Coinbase was great yesterday for sure. But again, look at today, bouncing off the 200 period moving average. So if you're going to use some TA here right now, it is not wanting to get going at all. Still down 4%. It's tried a couple times, faded off of 172. So, okay, we just got some more shares there on the futures, and you guys know if we're going to be into something, we do got to scalp something out because we do have a much better position on right now. So, did we get anything? Yeah, we did. So, we just got a couple of shares there at 145. So, we'll wait to see now. Here it comes back in. The futures look like they want to go downside. We're pretty flat here today, man. I mean, if anything, we probably should have stuck with this Apple short. But at the end of the day, that was 195. I'd written down 194. So, when it gets broken, we get out and just kind of look elsewhere, right? Figuring that the trend that we are thinking about is not the correct one. So,
and shout out to it's White Nubian King. It's an interesting name in the chat. CoreWeave is down 11% right now, which means it's getting very close to that the bottom yesterday, but also that 42. It was 42. 42 was a key price, and then 40, of course, was the IPO issue price. Not really sure what's so bad about CoreWeave here today, but down 11%. It's now SSR. Want to make sure we're highlighting that. But as you said, it's like, okay, well, every time, like Mara just started going for me, but Walmart looks like it's going to lose. We got that profit into the high of the day, but then it loses VWAP. So as quickly as it starts bouncing and showing a nice little bull flag in there, it goes right back on through. So yeah, this is a morning where it seems like you got to take your profit where it's there. We're not really doing, like I said, not much of anything is going crazy with the exception of looking at CoreWeave right now for whatever reason that is. Like Mara just comes right back in, bounces off the low, so you're getting VWAP to the same low of the day pretty much the entire time. So just gonna reload in front of the volume weighted average price and bid in front of the low of the day until something different starts happening. This one's starting to hold trend a little bit here. But yeah, you're starting to get real interesting. AMD's down 7.5%. That could go SSR today.
Oh, that broke through 90? No.
Yeah, like if we go 10% down, I got to start thinking about some of those mean reversion type bounces, right? Like if you go short sell restricted, the uptick rule goes into effect. You can still short it.
Yeah.
But CoreWeave's the one that stands out a little bit there. If it gets to that $40 level, remember 40 was the IPO issue on CoreWeave. Anytime one of these IPOs gets close to retracing that price, I want to look for a long, because I think they might defend it, that's all. If I see a big bid at 40, I'm just going to take it.
Oh, man. Okay. We're in it right now. The futures do come down. I mean, I was thinking about AMD breaking through that 90. I mean, I really like that trade, but I'm long the futures, so I'm not going to hit it. But that break of 90, I hope some of you did take that because it does go down to 89.50. Good trade alert right there. All right, so the futures keep on bouncing, man. We're long here at 48. We're long at 48.15s, so not a horrible price. I'm waiting to get something out at the quarters. We just bounced off the quarters 3 times, and I didn't even have an offer there. So now we're going to wait. Here comes again. Can we get back upside one more time for these futures? I mean, remember, we have Fed speak littered today. We could check out our watch list to see if there's any numbers at all at 10 o'clock. We have just Fed Schmidt speaking, so not much happening there as far as economic numbers. But if this breaks lower, then we are gone out of here. So we'll wait. We are near the low of the day. Just trying to see if we get a bump. We did have a couple bumps, but just didn't go far enough for us. So right now, futures heading lower right now. Make sure you do hit the like and the subscribe. Join us every day as we break down the market, give you some trades that we're looking at. But I'm going to sit on this. Hey, man, if it breaks, there it goes. There it goes. So I was going to say, if it breaks, it breaks. We can now resume into the short here. I don't want to just jump into anything. It's AMD is a missed opportunity for me for sure. And then Apple was the short. All right, Apple's probably going to be a long, so I'm going to ignore that. And just looking at AMD now, if we can get that back up to 90, we should be net short there, and we're not. So that's the missed opportunity there, AMD. Too bad. So yeah, the market's getting very yippy, hamster right there. So
yippy.
We'll wait to see what happens
Yips are the worst.
on the yipster over there.
No, like getting the yips. I've never had the yips. I'm thankful for it, but it's the hardest thing to watch in sports. When someone has it. Just this ICCT that a lot of people I know in the chat, if you're trading small cappers, there's a really decent chance you were looking at this at a minimum, halted down at 441. It failed yesterday's double top, and in a halt down, at least it's at support, but it was doing really good volume before. So if anyone's stuck in this, we don't really it's a NASDAQ stock, so it's not like I'm seeing an update on where it's realistically going to open up. Usually it's just flat. So right now it'll be a 5-minute halt. Sometimes you'll get 10 minutes. That's about it. With the market moving lower, we just retook, here I'll show you, we just retook underneath 81,000 again on Bitcoin. It couldn't really get going off of that level. It just kept going teetering back and forth. But now it's through like 8,900. And so I got that last bid out here in front of 11.5. We're gonna keep reloading Mara. That's the only thing which has constantly worked. But I did have that keystroke out of it early, which was kind of unfortunate. But we're just back on track, shorting this one as long as Bitcoin doesn't hold that support level. What did he say?
No, nothing. Fed Schmidt just talking about saying these tariffs have created economic uncertainty.
Oh, wow.
Adara, once Adara gets all this, she'll bring it to us. Stat. Okay, so we just flipped it up, man. You got to have the ability to flip it up. So my new idea is now to go short. Now, whether or not we lose on this one or not, we broke below the level that we were thinking about was 48, but we did look at 47 yesterday for the futures. So we had written that down here, so I'd hate to lose on that. But if it cuts into 47, that's maybe where, there it goes, there it goes, there it goes. Let's spin the money a little. Okay, why don't we just stay here? There it goes. Nice move to the downside right now for the futures. Again, Schmidt just talk, speak. I think he must have a He must have a prepared remarks because
Yes.
this guy's just reading everything in our Kansas City Fed president, Schmid, with a D at the end. There it is. Yes, sir. Let's go, man. Spin it right now. Oh, no. We're in new NVIDIA. We better get over there and cancel this because we are now net on this trade. I'm going to get out of NVIDIA right here, right now, because we're short the market, right? We do not need to be in this NVIDIA. I'm canceling all my bids right now, and let's just see what winds up happening. Short the market for your trade of the day right here, guys. There it is, man. Reverse it up, man. Do not get stubborn with your positions. Flip it up. We'll go positive on the futures. Good trade so far there. Well, positive net in the account, not positive on the day, but down goes the futures right there. Yes, sir. We did it. We reversed it. There we go. Have that confidence to do that. What's up, Miss A?
Well, it's certainly not up here as the market. This is our happening now segment. NASDAQ at day's lows into that 448 level. Also a little bit of a support resistance area from yesterday as well, and that pushed to the upside. Yesterday was the NASDAQ's second best day in history. But as we know, all of those days in the top 10 best days in history are usually during these periods where we are in a bit of a bearish market. So not super surprising that we have a little bit of a pullback today. Tesla on watch. This one, much like the market and a lot of its Mag 7 peers, at day's lows. TSLA getting some negative analyst notes, including a note from UBS here. UBS also downgraded GM. And then we have Ford. Ford getting a downgrade from Goldman Sachs. A lot of these car-related names getting hit pretty hard today. Also keep an eye on KMX with its earnings this morning. And Carvana, a sympathy play, also to the downside on that. Lots of weakness in this market is the long and short of it. Also, Michelle Bowman of the Fed is set to have her Senate nomination hearing starting right now here. She was nominated to join as vice chair of the Fed for supervision. She is already on the board, but we're going to have to wait and find out what happens there. Live video feed has not been made available yet. Back to you.
There's a small IPO today. It's like CUPR. It's like a $4 one. I want to have eyes on it because we've seen a few of those do ridiculous things, and you really want to get it if it halts like once upside or like twice, the early ones. But I'm going to have that up on a side chart. Obviously you can see that we're breaking lower, but just looking at where support might come in, 11.20. On that big spike up yesterday on the pause, we'll just call it the pause move, the first pullback is support for me on almost anything. The first pullback in Mara was to 11.25. So that's where I'm looking for the out here on Mara. That's about another quarter way, so a couple points down, and then we'll look for that bid. CoreWeave is not really falling anymore. It is SSR, but I guess I don't have to worry about that getting to the $40 level. But AMD is getting pretty close to SSR. All that means is if it gets down 10%, I just want a trend reversal on AMD.
Right here.
That's simple.
Right now.
Like there's your trend down.
Right now.
Gets anywhere, it breaks that 10 by even 1 percentage point or 0.01, and then breaks the trend, I want to look long on AMD. But it's only 8% down. In this market, that can change in a heartbeat. We're going to have eyeballs on AMD just for that specific trade.
Down.
Oh, and Walmart, which we got out of, right back up at VWAP. So this might still stay strong. I'm favoring shorts right now, so not going to jump into it just yet on Walmart, because I still feel like the market's trending down. Look for a little more strength, and then we can maybe get back into Walmart long. Up 1% while the market's down. Was that Adara?
We do have these comments here coming through from Feds Schmidt, as Sean mentioned earlier. I had not seen them populate for me on X yet, but now I'm seeing these come through, and these are pretty, I would say, cautious. He said that he does intend to remain focused on inflation. And then he does not take too much solace, though, from the theory that tariffs may only have a temporary impact on inflation. He is really concerned here about the inflationary impact of these tariffs. He said that these announcements have elevated economic uncertainty, and they coincided with falling sentiment and a rise in short-term inflation expectations. So yet another Fed member here talking about short-term inflation expectations. He is concerned here about the tariffs and their impact going forward on the economy, guys. Back to you.
Thank you, Adara.
Of course they're concerned with that. It makes all the sense in the world. Asian AD Walmart will hit tariffs. I think the argument for Walmart has always been that they're better positioned than competitors. But I mean, everyone sort of gets that brunt of it as far as we're concerned.
All right. Okay, so we just had written down here an NVIDIA long at 107. It's at 108.20 right now. Oh, here's our long NVIDIA 107. Sometimes it's like, I'm in the futures and we're just like, all right, and we ignore that. We should have. Anyways, big time trade there. Hope you guys, I hope you trusted this more than I did. But again, you change up your mind, right? I mean, we talk about that all the time. So we do get a little bit of a mind change there. And you know, what are we going to do about it? Nothing. We're not going to cry over spilled milk. It just sucks because we did have that one indicated as a potential long, and it did come in. So yeah, that was that. All right, so we had gotten some good dip buys here on the futures, obviously, but we ripped back up into 48 again. This was a level that we had looked at. This is the pre-market low. If we are going to take this out again, then we just sit back and we get out. And then we watch for those next news hits, right? And we said that with Adara there on the desk, we want to thank her, obviously, for bringing us all of the information every day when something hits. So we'll get some more out there at 70. I'm bidding 66s. There we go. I'm bidding 53s. There we go. Holy crap, Neil, there it goes again. Another one coming through for everybody there. So we can cry over missing NVIDIA $1.30, but you know what, man? At the end of the day, I have 4 times the risk here on the futures, so this is all good, man. And when we've been hot on something, we might as well stay right there. So now the futures coming back in a little bit. Remember, we had also written down on here, long 47 on the futures. The low of the day is 47.05. So we nailed everything today. Unfortunately, Apple, we had to let it go. It was 194 is what we were looking at. It does break 194. And if you are looking for something, it's at Trader TV. Sean, 52,000 of you are liking this. Google, there's the long, 152 to 153. We have to look at that. There's the long on the Qs. That is the low of the day, 47.05. The Apple short is now $1.50 in the money, and the NVIDIA long is that dollar. But again, you have to pick and choose your poison sometimes, right? And I mean, for us, oh boy, Neil, I didn't even realize this was happening right now. There it goes, down to the downside. Nice trade on the futures. We just reloaded that. And again, when you have confidence in your trades, you'll use more shares and you'll try the levels that you believe in. Now, again, that's why we double talk, because we got out of that NVIDIA. But remember, the NVIDIA trade, I'm not going long NVIDIA if I'm short the futures. So it's not something that's going to work for me mentally, but it would have worked for me financially, that's for sure. So we'll wait for that. Like I said, man, the biggest trade of the day so far anyways, we'll wait for it. We'll see if we can put on something bigger, but right now is going to be the futures. So we'll wait for that, and we'll see what winds up happening here. Trying to get to the downside, 47.50 right now is what we're printing. I'm going to get out another piece just in case. So there it goes. Let's see if we can break lower here. The low of the day is imminent. It's just a matter of breaking
it right now.
No. We're not breaking it right now.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, we're a little ways off.
You know what? The ES is breaking low of the day.
Let's get down.
Yeah, the ES is breaking low of the day as we speak. I'm not sure exactly what's leading it lower, but the NASDAQ, you're right. The NASDAQ is adjacent to the low. Let's put it that way. I'm still waiting for 1125 or a VWAP here, which is always going to be a moving target, so I'm just going to move my orders. That'd be pretty cool. Well, actually, no, I don't know if I'd want the system repricing orders. But whatever. It'd be cool if you could have this move my order and then move my stop to go along with VWAP. You could probably automate that. But I still like 1125. Alibaba's not giving us the look that we wanted. I liked 106 a little more on NVIDIA, so I don't think that's going to be a thing. But not part of the plan was Walmart, and Walmart's looking pretty strong again. Like it's holding above the volume weighted average price. I'd love to see some more strength in the market before jumping into that long. We were still looking okay when we took the long the first time. Like the market was bouncing off the lows when we bought this, and now the market's breaking down underneath. So I want to see some stability in the market before buying these tops on Walmart. But almost, I'm starting to get there. That I think it's AREB that everyone's looking at here. Some people just typed in REB, but it's AREB. That's the one moving. Now halted for the 4th time. I don't know, 4th or 5th time. I guess this is going to be the one today. Just remember, the stock did this a few days ago. Was it on Friday last week? It got to like 20-something and then just trended down. Usually the big resistance levels tend to matter here, so $12 standing out like a sore thumb, maybe like 12.5 standing out like a sore thumb if you happen to be trading AREB. So Mara, we're just going to hang on. Our target is in. We've scalped it to the low of the day. It's just a simple matter of going on with the trend or getting that low. But there is also Intel, which I was told was a big break. Someone in the chat said it was a big break at the 20 level. I guess there was like a big buyer in there that got broken. If you get a retracement to VWAP, I always love the trend down on Intel. But if you don't, might just have to play it inside this range. If it fails 20 again, I like the look underneath here because you can go tight risk to the local high.
What's up? What's up, BF Fisherman? Man, I do appreciate the love on here. We're trying to get the winners, man. We're trying to get the winners. And yeah, we've been really consistent with them, right? And so thank you for the acknowledgement there in the chat. I mean, we're all trying our best every single day, right? And so, yeah, right here. There it is. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's go. Finally, let's go, TQ. So here we go. We just got a nice bid there. That was a really good one for us in the 20s there. We got 25s. We got 47 25s. So that was a really, really good fill for us. So now we'll wait to see if we can get lower. I'm now bidding 47.10, the low of the day. And then if that breaks, man, we're hands off. Put your hands up in the air and wave them like you just don't care. We do need Apple to flush. That's 100% right. If this can get down, then the market will definitely follow. It's being held up right now. So I don't know what's up with Apple, guys. We like to short at 194. It's not coming in. So I don't know what else to tell you right now. Let's hope it does come in. We're net short, and we've been talking, like, it's one thing to talk about trading, and it's another thing to put the trades on. And like for me, I already said this earlier, it's like I sit here and I, you know, like when we missed that AMD trade or we missed that NVIDIA, well, we got the NVIDIA, but you know, it's, give me those 10s. Bang, let's go. Good fill there at 10. All right, so if we, there, okay, well now it might not be a good fill. Now we're at 07 and 08. Here we go, man, 80 cents in the money. This is a great trade. This is the biggest trade, the biggest position I've had. Well, I had more shares on Apple at the top, but at the end of the day, here it goes. It's a nice downside move. We're net positive today. That's great, obviously, and we'll see if we can break now through 47. I'm gonna put one more bid here, another 5% right at this level. Let's go, there it goes, man, bang. Right there, a nice little trade on the future. Thank you for watching. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. I keep telling you we're doing this every day. Only ones to believe us are the ones that come back every day. So right there, you could just see this is happening. We put it out, the sticky notes there. What's up, Randy? What's up, Neil? What's up, Mark, Joe, everybody? Let's keep this party going. Fabian, let's go. There it is, man, 46.90 to the downside. Can we get that vaunted and coveted, I should say, Dollar Club winner? Let's see if we get down there. We might have just got it. We actually did. The low of the day is 46.87. We're short at 47.86. So we get 99 cents there, top to bottom on this trade. So let's get some more out here at 20. So far, so good, man. Yeah, Jeremy, I mean, I appreciate the Katina Man comment. That means that you are a regular viewer, but I feel like we're on one most days. Fabian, come to the chat, come to the screen here. I just want to show this. Thank you so much, Jeremy Hicks, man. A lot of love for that as well. What's up, Randy? Your hair looking mighty clean, my guy. Yes, sir.
I'm the Halim.
Oh, Halim's there, but he got his haircut by a different dude the other day. So, okay, well, what's going on with you? You're on Intel over there.
Well, we got 3 points on it, Mara, but Intel just bounced with the market a little bit off of the lows, so it broke down to about 19.9 off that 20 short. Looking for the quarters next. Just wanted to join this party, but I'm never holding it from here to VWAP. If we break this local high, I'll wait till VWAP to get back in again. And with Mara, I'm just sort of, if we get the pop, then we're going to continue the short train, but I'm looking for these quarters. There's nothing about this that says we aren't going to continue to trend down, because here's the thing. Bitcoin is now back above 81,000, and Mara is still at the lows anyways. So even when Bitcoin bounced, this isn't really bouncing. So it's probably going to take Bitcoin getting back close to 82, and then we can short this one back in again off of the volume-weighted average price, so long as we have a chance to get it. Walmart, I'm still a little bit skeptical about this holding up here. Like we've been sitting in the shorts, they've been working, and Walmart's losing VWAP. I didn't understand why it was up in the first place. So I think we'll just get away with one at VWAP on Walmart while it was trending up. And if it doesn't show us more strength, we don't have to be in this. Well, I keep saying we. I don't have to be in this on Walmart at all. The only other thing that was part of the plan we haven't really done much with is NVIDIA. You know, NVIDIA just never was that clean of a setup. I traded it when it tried to break trend in here. I played into VWAP, got a couple of decent bounces, and then it broke down. It stair-stepped down on NVIDIA, and we still have some room to get back into 106. I just like 106 because that first pullback after we got that pause, those are the levels that I'm looking at to hold. And right now, you can argue it's definitely holding it at 107. But I'm not going to just sort of jump in here taking the trend break when it's not enough of a downward push. So we're going to back off of NVIDIA there.
When you talk about NVIDIA, I mean, I want to thank any NVIDIA traders out there, man. You guys if you still have the 107 long, again, it was listed right there. We should have taken it. We actually did have that NVIDIA long here. So we have a little thing here. Where's my sticky note thing? Actually, I don't even know where it is anymore. We do have, you can check this out every single, oh, there it is, sticky box. Oh, there it is. Right there, 107 long. And unfortunately, you know, again, no spilled milk, but there's 107 long. And we got out because we thought the futures were getting down. What's up, Phil from MD? What up, my guy? Just made over 150%.
Awesome.
On NVIDIA calls yesterday, and then rolled them into May 16th for a nice little profit.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, great trade. Nice one there. Damn you, NVIDIA. Look at you go, man. This should be $1.70 in the money for us. So, okay, let's figure that out. Someone said, why is Sean trading TQQs and calling them the futures? They're just 3x the futures, so that's why. I can call them 3x if you want. NVIDIA's right there. Looking for something else. We did want Google a little lower, but okay, okay. Yeah, Google, I didn't even notice this one. So Google actually falling right out of bed, like real nice, man. 157, 158, like that high held pretty much 3 times, so that was great. There it is, man, 154 and change right now as the market falling down. I mean, we're short the futures, so I can't ask for much more, but for right now, nice move down there on Google. I see the name that you're going to look at. Let me just check out what's going on with our Apple short at 194. So far, if you took all the futures, all the trades on the sticky note, you'd have short 194 on Apple. You'd have long 47 on the futures, which has been great, actually, for all the dip buys. 47 has literally been the bottom. And then you'd have NVIDIA long, now $1.40 in the money. So, Randy, I just got to take my own trades, my guy. But for now, we host the show, and yeah, we're having a lot of fun. And thank you for the reloaded coffee there. So, yeah, what's up, music? Hey, thank you. This guy must be, or he or she must be Canadian. Little $2 super chat, Randy. We can go get a little Tim Hortons right there. Nor bull, neither bear. It's kangaroo. Yeah, it is up and down. So thank you so much for that. But you know what, man? We're still here trading and looking for the best opportunity.
I'd argue it's been a bit bouncing around, but it's bouncing lower. Like it's a kangaroo rolling down a hill. Hopefully under its own power, jumping down. If it's rolling down a hill, there's some issues going on. But you're just trending down now. It's all red candles since the open on the NASDAQ. It's all red candles on the ES, on a 15-minute anyways. Meta's down 4.5 points. I know you saw Google there too, but Meta not looking any better. The only one that's standing out is really, and I'm not even sure it is anymore because it's under VWAP, is Apple. Like Apple was holding it together a little bit here. Microsoft, this one wants to load up. Don't like the fact that they're lowering their CapEx spending. I think that's not necessarily a good thing. They're pausing that plan. Microsoft could lose that initial dip level that we had yesterday in the pause. If that happens, like that's the first one of these floors to go. I mean, I guess AMD happened a long time ago, but they're not part of the Mag 7. So you're under a lot of pressure here. Tesla also right back at the bottoms. It's still $10 away. This was never a level that I was going to talk about too much because it was $20 away. But the dip level on that initial pullback yesterday was 244. That's where I'd look for Tesla if we're going to be able to get it. So we'll see. Like this is obviously going crazy. Everyone's talking about GameStop right now. I guess it's breaking that 25 again. GameStop, it's not going that crazy. 25's been a good level for this to break away from, but it hasn't really done that follow through just yet. I'd like to see more volume. This volume is much lower than yesterday on GameStop. So yeah, it's trending higher, but with this volume, it's going to be a pass for me. Let's go up to Adara, I believe, for the small cap. I think we're ready to go.
We're going to do small cap recap from here today because we do have in my ear it's a Senate nomination hearing for quite a few different banking-related roles, including current Fed Bowman, who's being nominated to take over as Vice Chair of Supervision from Fed Barr, who formerly held the role. So I'll be listening to that in my ear. We're going to be staying at this desk and delivering that news for you while we go over these small caps. IWM down about 3.7% and near low of days, much like the market. Interesting, though, this is a pretty rate-sensitive index here, as these small caps often are, and we did get lower than expected CPI prints across the board. CPI year over year, month over month, and core CPI month over month and year over year, all lower than we were expecting. We have Conduit Pharmaceuticals here to start things off. CDT, this one authorizing a $1 million maximum share repurchase program, trading at almost $1 right now. It is still a penny stock, but keep an eye here on CDT. Then we have AREB, American Rebel. Could not find any story in this one, but this one does tend to rally semi-frequently. It is considered, I believe, as well, a Trump sympathy play. So REEB, great look. SMMT, Summit Therapeutics, pushing back a little bit. This is, again, a repeat runner for Summit Therapeutics, a little bit more expensive as well, trading around $20 right now for Summit. Back to you.
So it reached the summit and pulled back a little bit there. Apparently, that AREB, American Rebel, I just said AREB because I didn't really know the company. Cop to it. Like most of the small caps, you're not going to know them offhand. But AREB is now halted down at 1047 with a 1001 tap. So it's indicating it's going to open lower. It did get into that resistance at 12, but a halt down, volatility halt there. It'll be about 3 minutes to open. I don't know why I don't see it. Usually when you get a halt, you'll be able to see, I guess it'll be such a small open interest that when I sort it by size, AREB doesn't have any kind of an imbalance. Generally speaking, it'll give you on the imbalance locator an indication of the interest at that open, which can be useful if you're looking to trade it. But we're getting a little bit of a bounce here, so I might get the first chance since we got in to get VWAP here on Mara on the short. Walmart's not really doing a very good job of convincing me that this long is back on. Like as we're bouncing, we're kind of hanging underneath VWAP. You're making a nice little wedge here, so there's always a chance that this turns into, like kind of like you see the wedge pattern there, resolves itself by breaking the wedge. So I guess that's what I'll wait for on Walmart. I'm favoring long here because it's clearly bullish relative to the market, but I got to have a particular entry. Like break this channel, hold VWAP, and then we can do something. I don't want to be involved in this kind of nonsense that we're seeing here. In WMT. What did I see there? Soxel ripping. I don't know if ripping's the right word.
Go NVIDIA. I mean, NVIDIA is, oh man, great trade, guys. I wish we would have stuck with that 107, but we didn't. So, all right, on the way down, we just got a 47 fill again, man. We got 47.10s. So that was a good fill. Now we just get a 50 as we go back a little bit higher right now. I'm going to wait for VWAP to get out. So that's 48.50. I just put the order at 48.50s. So if we go wrong, that's what we're going. We're light on this trade now. I mean, we wrote down 47 longs on here for the TQQs, and that's the low of the day is 47. So why we're short here and not just covering it all there, that's the decision that we had made. So we're very light now on this position, probably about 15% left. I'm going to still get a little bit more short ahead of VWAP and then just see if we break it, then we break it and we'll punch out. So my next offer isn't until 48.30s. So looking to see in this range right here, if we can get a short, then we'll hold that and then see if it wants to rip our face off up there into 48.60 where we've got VWAP, so we'll wait to see about that trade coming through right now. I mean, we could short a little bit more now. I just don't, I don't want to get carried away. The market is moving higher. Wow, that NVIDIA would now be 250 in the money. Congratulations, anybody that has that. You've got a hell of a winner. Bang, right there. Shout out to Ozan. I just wish we still would have had it, so I am jealous on that. But we did have it, but we did give it up, so what are we supposed to do? Apple making moves. We still should be long that one, or short that one, but we're not. And then the other one, of course, was Google. We will look at other places. It's now 10:24. Actually,
Quantum names a little bit.
Day's going by pretty fast. We want to dip by Google at 153. That didn't come in yet, so... what about Robinhood? Robinhood's down 3%. This is a name that, again, don't trade it too often, but when I do, I like it. And, okay, don't like it today. Was just trying to see if there was some barcoding there. You talked about CoreWeave before.
It bounced early.
Okay, so CoreWeave, let's see what it's... Oh, we were going to see what it was doing. CoreWeave down there, 43 up to 47 right now for CoreWeave. So actually 46. Nice move there. Disney's still around $100 as well. So
it's got to get to
Disney $88.
It's frustrating on CoreWeave because it's got to get to your level. We've seen there's been really good dip buyers on CoreWeave. You have to remember that when the market fell apart, CoreWeave barely made a dent. It didn't even approach its IPO lows. So that's a positive sign, I think, for this stock. It definitely bodes well for them individually. It just never got down to 40 today, unfortunately. What can you do? Like AMD didn't go down 10% for that mean reversion SSR. It seemed like it was going to. CoreWeave was rushing down. It seemed like it was going to get there as well. I'll get to Walmart in a second, but I did get the reload in front of VWAP on Mara, and Walmart is attempting to break this trend to the upside. At least it's trying. So it's closing above this little wedge here, but I shouldn't say it's not closing above the wedge. It's opening up the candle above the wedge. That's what's actually happening. So I needed to close this above the wedge and then try to jump into the long. If it just goes sideways for a while, then we're just patient with it. There's nothing wrong with that. It could go sideways for a little bit and then consolidate here off of VWAP. That would be fine for a long too. But I have to let this bar close. The only new position is just a reload on VWAP in MARA. Bitcoin is doing this at the volume weighted average price. So basically the same thing, but we're going short in MARA anyways. And even like a little bit of a push down, holding above VWAP on IBIT, like a small sign of weakness, and MARA just kind of jumps right back down into the 1160 range. So MARA relatively weak. As long as that pattern continues, then we'll continue to short it off of VWAP. We'll see what happens here with Walmart. It looks like it is catching a bit of that bid. It should just generally follow the market, and if the market goes up, it was relatively strong to begin with.
Right. Yeah, futures starting to go 48.40s. That's where I want to be short. So we're going to put an offer there at 48.40. We'll see if we do get those fills. And then I actually just realizing that, sorry, that's CoreWeave still. Realizing that the VWAP is at 60s. So we got to put our stop in there. 48.61 or so, I think. Would be a good stop for us. 48.61. All right, so let's just do that. If we break through VWAP, we're going to get out. I don't even, normally we'd hold it a little bit higher than VWAP or anything like that, but it's a pretty aggressive move, and we already written down 47 as a potential bottom for the TQQs, and the reason why we picked that is that goes right into yesterday's. I mean, there's many names that we talked about into those levels, and that's where we went. We're long futures, short futures. Now we're short back into this area underneath VWAP. Let's see if it works out for us. May not. And that's fine. I mean, if it doesn't, it doesn't. We'll give it up. We are looking to get more short at 40s. Let's take, all right, let's put on about another, like, I guess, third of a unit here if we can get, okay, we just got 19s. I was going to say if we can get 19, so we just got those. So right now our average price is 04s. That's fine for us. We'll wait to see if we get something more. The offer is now at 48.30s, so we'll wait for that one. Palantir, the trade that we've been nailing the last couple of days for sure. We had a 70 long that went to $80. Palantir today, nicely holding again into some of those levels. Now, they did not get down as far as, the others did into yesterday's sort of momentum changing spots, but trying to hold underneath VWAP, it looks like, or above it anyways. Right now, we are under it with a move coming back in right now. So maybe our futures, okay, Neil, I didn't even realize that. I was like, maybe our futures trade's going back down in. So there it is. Good little reload there at the top side. Bang for those futures. Oh boy, man, we are doing it and doing it and doing it well right now. Shout out to my guy, of course. Everybody knows who we're shouting
He represents
that one.
Queens.
And we raised out in Brook, baby. So here we go. Nice move to the outside of the futures. Good move back down in, man. We stay true to what we're doing right there. So let's go futures and let's go. Ladies love Cool James.
Yes, they do. 100%. You just had to grab that. I saw people that they're like AMDs at VWAP. Whatever is at VWAP that you like, if you're trending down, just take it. Because whether it doesn't really matter. Like if you're trading the futures, same thing. MAR did the same thing. I just typed ARM instead of AMD. AMD did pretty much the same move right into VWAP and is starting to pull back in there. Oddly enough, why is ARM above VWAP? I'm not sure. I just randomly pulled it up there. NVIDIA as well, although NVIDIA is above. So NVIDIA and ARM may be a little bit stronger than the rest. But if you found something that was trending down, just reload it. We reloaded MARA. Sean reloaded the Qs. AMD looks like it's still trending down. Walmart is trying to resolve itself positively here, but you're still kind of struggling. There's sellers at the 91 level, and the market's breaking lower again. So the only thing we did is reload shorts at this point. I'm just not convinced. I'm not convinced of the longs right now. So I'm not going to force into any one of them, even if I keep thinking Walmart's a good one. It's just not doing a good job convincing me. That's all. So we keep staying short.
All right, here we go, guys. We're getting, our mama said, knock you out. Let's go, futures. What you got, Powell? What you got? Right now, as we get to the downside now, 50 handles, 50 cents now. Let's go, futures. Let's go. Nice move down in. Good little reload spot there for us on the futures. So here we go, 47, 47.50, 47.70. We're just going to have to get some more out. We actually got some out in the 60s, but it looks like that was not long-lived, this downside play. So we'll take some 80s right there. Okay. 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 We put our hands up in the air. There it goes. Nice little downside play one more time. Can we get back into 47? And if we do, oh boy, we'd be pretty happy with that one. So right now, so far, so good here as we continue to watch the TQs fall back in for us. Good trade there on the futures, man. So yeah, I mean, look, we talk about this, man. You can take me out of the hood, but you can't take the hood out of me. So we do keep it gangster 24/7 around this place, and we don't really. But there it is. We'll see what happens. 47.87. Shout out there. Yeah, that's funny, man. What's up, Jack Storm? See, Sean gets more street as he does better in the market. Yeah. That's right. That's what we do. We're entertaining here at the end of the day. Everyone can see the trades that we have on. We don't need to talk about, the successes or failures too much. Just look at the ideas that we have. Look at these ins right there. These are the outs. These are the ins. These are the outs. So, whether or not you're an LL Cool J fan or not, this market right now trading quite nice for the scalp. Now, we could still wind up losing on this. I mean, it's 10:30. The market can go anywhere. We saw huge moves yesterday. We actually had a $2 slippage on the TQs that put me into a sour mood.
That's just headline risk, though.
Yes, and that's what we have today. I mean, this market is all headline risk.
The Fed said something, sorry, not the Fed, that Schmid said something here, which is Fed watching markets minute by minute to ensure liquidity keeps flowing. So there's a little bit more that we're going to get from Adara on that. Like, Fed watching the market minute by minute? No, you're not. That's not your mandate, Schmid. Let's go to Adara and get some more notes there.
Well, it's misquoted.
So there's an issue. I have an issue with that was circulated on X. The actual headline is Fred Smith was talking about the Treasury market, and then he said the Feds are watching the markets minute by minute. The implication being that they're watching the Treasury markets or the bond market because they are concerned, like a lot of people have been talking about this week, about the bond market. That is why yesterday's 10-year bond auction was watched so heavily. So that is the story here. They're watching the Treasury markets, not necessarily the stock market. I want to clarify because I saw some confusion about that spread on X as well. Here is, this is Bitcoin, a nice little attempt here to push out of this downtrend that we have in the 3-minute chart since the open. We have held on to this 80,000 level, though, really well since we broke back out of it yesterday. Right now, low of day around 80.5. Let's take a look at the daily chart as well to get some more context for BTC, still in this downtrend, of course, on the daily chart. But again, yesterday we bounced twice off that 74,000 level. Now we're seeing 80,000 hold to support a little bit more near term. So BTC could potentially get a little bit of a bounce here. It's always, of course, though, wait and see. Bitcoin up about 5%. So is Ethereum, nicely back above that 1,500 level. BNB up 2.5%. Solana 6%. Doge, Cardano about 6% as well. So lots of strength in the market across the board this morning, guys. Back to you.
Yeah, Amazon just went to 186 right there.
You're starting to get some real strength start to come in here. Walmart might break out the high of the day.
I can't believe Nvidia's $3 in the money.
Yeah, it's all everything's starting to go. CoreWeave was a really good opportunity, but you had to, for everyone that was shutting that one out, like you had to really maybe catch that turn and be focused on it. I said I wasn't convinced in Walmart. It wasn't part of the initial trading plan. So we're looking for a setup that was going to work. Obviously not in it right now, and a little bit frustrated, but the market's going to head back higher. And of course, look, they always watch the bond market. It's just the whole minute-to-minute thing that just seems a little bit, when sometimes someone will say something for effect, what it sounds like. They're not going to watch it minute by minute. But I guess if there's any liquidity, if there's any big events in the bond market, I guess you know where the support will come in. Right? So take that as it will, as you may. Maybe we get a dip and we get a chance to play in this channel over there in Walmart. But if we're going to go squeeze into the upside, I do want to keep my eye over there on the thing that we didn't really grab into. You're now above the volume weighted average price on NVIDIA. It's almost a full V-shaped recovery at this point. So I guess you got to look for the VWAP entry here. It'll be Walmart or NVIDIA that we want long. Ideally, one of them gives some kind of a pullback. And as we go back higher, like here comes VWAP again. I'm not going to just sit there in front of VWAP like before on MAR. We did get the reload last time, but I'm not just going to sit on the offer. Let's see how it trades into VWAP because Bitcoin is solidly above 81,000 on this test.
Here we go. Yeah, so again, I feel like today is not a good mental day for me because we had NVIDIA long at 107. It's at 110. We had the Qs long at 47. It's at 48.50. So it's like we had Apple short at 194. Apple is, and all of these filled, by the way. It's not like these are like a pie in the sky. Shout out to my guy, Joe. You know, these are all actual trades that filled, and we don't have them on board right now, but we do have the futures, which we just got into a little bit there. So now we have this position. Let's just start to scalp a little bit out here as we're short at 35s. You just took a 25 there. We're looking for a little lower than that, obviously, as we go. So let's go over to Adair and find out what's going on. A lot of headline risk right now. Futures are very risky to trade at this point, so we're going to try to scalp it out as we do hear Fed speak and all this nonsense, apparently. What's up, Adara? No? Yeah.
So here's Robinhood. Robinhood announcing on X, which is now getting circulated here a little bit on the platform, that they have new prediction markets available on Robinhood, including Masters tournament betting and some other sports prediction markets. So HOOD looks like it's trying to officially enter sports betting, specifically using this Masters tournament here, guys. Back to you.
Masters tournament.
Well, if you're doing sports betting, you got to make sure you're online for the Masters.
Yeah, that is for sure. All right, we just got a 26 fill again there on the TQQs, but it looks like we are going to run higher. I just want to give you our stop, 48.60. So the Qs are going to go higher here. So frustrating that we're not long there at 47, but how you can get long at 47 is by using charting, and you can, it looks like it's going to go. That's okay, our stop is in. All right, it's E-Signal Fabian. E-Signal Fabian. It is E-Signal Fabian right now that we are talking about. So scan that QR code below and get involved with eSignal. They are giving you 1 month free, so scan them ASAP. Get involved with eSignal right now. And again, over 50 plus brokers connected to eSignal right now for you. And all your trades, all your back testing, all your key levels. All your frustrations lie when you read charts and you nail them, and yet you do not follow what you put in. But you know what? Again, things change as this market opens. We get different CPI readings. We get different things popping off throughout the day. So there it is. We do fail on our last bit of the futures as it runs that 48.60 level. Huge move to the upside. The only thing that was right today was 47 long on there, and that's what we had put in. So, you know, back up to VWAP right now is the NASDAQ. Again, VWAP's going to be a little different on the TQs, so we'll have to wait to see what happens right now, but not great there. We got executed at that top. We could almost get out again and just try to we can get back in. Why don't we do a little bit of that? Because we did basically stop out exactly at VWAP. We didn't want to hold that many shares through there in case we had that huge move like we did yesterday. So we'll layer back into it and then maybe use this as our new top, 48.64. But we did get run up there at the top. Look, we're back in this name, so if it comes back in, good for us. But at the end of the day, we should have just followed our own rules, which we didn't do a great job of. So yeah, if we get back into 47 this time, for sure, we will be covering on that one. So people still talking about AMC and GME. So I don't know, maybe we got to
I know they're a bit of a thing. Just one more. AMD's respecting VWAP, so that's actually holding. I'm going to get into this one this time. I keep looking over at NVIDIA going higher and higher. Well, if NVIDIA is going higher like this, and AMD is holding under the volume-weighted average price, then shorting under 91. So 91 even is basically VWAP, so stop out above 91, short in front of 91 is the idea. But you're absolutely right about, I'll say at least GameStop. AMC, I just can't really get behind as much. It doesn't move as much. It doesn't trend as much. It hasn't been as strong. It's just much more beaten up. And then if GME fails, it fails worse. So not a huge fan. This is a very solid upward trend that you're getting on GME, but it's also a very low volume trend. I just can't get behind these squeeze names when the volume isn't behind them either. And for AMC, it's actually less volume and not breaking the high. So if you get some kind of volume spike, then you start going over into those. Squeezes, to me, require more volume and volatility go hand in hand when it comes to those. So it's looking like AMD, the weakest of the chip names here, at least I think the weakest of the chip names, is holding under VWAP. I'm offering it in mid-70s here, not going to be able to get it. I'll probably nibble down to the 50s, see if it can't come pick me up there. I did not get the reload on Mara the third time. Okay, technically it's the fourth time, because the first time we're in Mara, we did get stopped out, although it didn't break VWAP. That was my bad. But we didn't get that last reload. It got right up to my price and didn't actually print the offer. I'm waiting at 65. And printed like 64. So we're still on the offer there. We're trying to get AMD because that's respecting the short for sure. And GameStop, still not enough volume for me to want to get involved, everybody.
All right. So new trade alert here for me is going to be on Intel. We're going to watch to see if it does hold the 50-period moving average, or sorry, the 200-period moving average. I did want to see Masters scores. I wanted to see who was winning in the Masters right now.
Is it kind of early?
No, they tee off early today. All right, so right here, it looks like we've got Captain Kirk is in here, -2 through 8 so far. Who else? Harmon, where's my guy? There's Corey Connors right there, so nice little move there for him. As we look at the Canadians, my guy Will Zalatoris over here, we shout out to that other league, of course, as we go, Will Zalatoris over there. All right, Mickelson's here as well, Morikawa. Anybody else there? No, nobody. Okay, we'll wait to see. I don't see Scheffler yet. I think he tees off at 10:30, so we'll wait to see what Scheffler's doing right now, or Rory. So I don't see any of those guys. So we'll wait to see if anyone's making any plays right now, of course, in this space. Masters. So we're excited for that one.
Just one note.
Yeah.
There is twice as much money down over at ProfitX on the Masters than at any point when I was looking at the NCAA tournament. I think we'd feel like 350, 400 would be like big for everything on ProfitX. But right now the Masters is like 700,000. And they're just getting started. So obviously that's pretty spicy.
Big one.
We said we were going to do a pool.
Yeah.
We got to get on that at some point. But it's 10:40. Let's get to Adara and Sector Watch.
We have lots of weakness on this board today. Starting here with the technology services sector, Meta, Google, Microsoft, all sharply to the downside. There's really hard to find a green name in this sector, and same with electronic technology. These semiconductors really leading this weakness. NVIDIA, Broadcom, AMD, all selling off. Apple, though, also really weak. We know that this is considered one of the most, if not the most, Mag 7 that is sensitive to tariffs. We know because they have, of course, to rely on China and India, both countries which are facing tariffs. Finance really weak here. Keep an eye on JP Morgan and others ahead of their earnings reports tomorrow morning. Health technology right across the board. Same with consumer services, producer manufacturing, energy minerals, consumer durables, transportation, consumer services, etc. Let's talk about some green sectors because there are a few. We have some relative strength here in health services. UNH leading this group to the upside. They're almost back at $600. Communications looking great. Distribution looking great. Consumer non-durables, some strength as well. And retail trade, Amazon to the downside. But as Neil mentioned earlier, Walmart strong, and so is Costco. Back to you.
All right, so we were able to get in and out of the futures there before it blasts upside again. So, short there at VWAP, back down into the 20s again, takes them out, gets them out at the top as the market is just whipping around right now. We'll still stay a little bit short here on the futures in case we do get that downside move, but we just stopped out again there at VWAP. So, yeah, not really working out on the there it comes now back in, of course, for the futures. And again, we talked about this, right? You're going to have a lot of headlines attached right now with this. So, yeah, just try to be patient with it and see what we can do with these plays. And there it goes. So huge move up, huge move down, basically flat on that last little take. We didn't want to hold it. And there it goes right back down in again. So yeah, so frustrating here to try to scalp back and forth a little bit, but it's Google. I was thinking like maybe we need to start looking long again, but I don't know. Some of these names there, it's just, the futures really aren't doing anything, and we're just kind of throwing orders back and forth and trying to pick up tops and levels. But there's that run right there that just happened to us. So that's 18.8 and then right back down in again. So it's too bad that we don't have that one, but we do have another winner on right now, and that's going to be Intel. Intel's a nice one as that's coming back in a little bit. We should put some out here. Can we get some 27s? There it is. Yeah, so good trade there on Intel. To quote my guy over here to the right, to the left, as quick as you like right there. 12, 13 cents there on Intel. We just took two fills. Short at 39, out at 26, out at 25. Now it's coming into 24. We should be huge on the TQs, but we did get stopped out right there. So that's unfortunate, but we'll be back into this name as it's starting to go lower. Yeah, we'll just hold on to this, man. We'll just hold on to Intel and see what winds up happening.
Yeah, the Qs went right into...
that's frustrating.
NQ went right into VWAP, it looks like, at least on my 15-minute chart. I see the wick in there. AMD just held VWAP as well. Came right into 93.75, so it didn't quite break into the 91 area. Now starting to head back down. Mara, which in Bitcoin's holding the same price level. This is just bouncing cleanly on VWAP. Plays both ways. I feel like if Bitcoin takes 82,000, we're at 81.6. and MAR breaks VWAP, it's probably going to do some kind of a little breakout there. But for now, it's really respecting it. So going to stick with that trend as long as it wants to hold. I just saw Constellation Brands breaking out the high of the day. So pretty good pattern for them, although, yeah, kind of right back in there. But on volume, this broke out the high of the day. STZ, they reported last night. It wasn't on the market recap because they didn't report till it was like 5:30 or something like that. Very, very late in the evening. No fun if you report at 5:30. Just give us the report at 4:15 so we can all have some fun with that. I see you, Jameson, in the chat saying Palantir 95 by end of day. This might be the longest we've gone without pulling up a Palantir chart, unless you already have, Sean.
Yeah, we did earlier.
Oh, you did? Okay.
We didn't really look at it.
Then not really. Well, at some point.
We're looking at 85.
But look at it.
It didn't come in.
Yeah, like this, a lot of things look like this, and there's nothing bad about it. You've held the low, you've held the high, and you've done nothing much else. So unless you're just trend trading inside, which you can do, like that's actually a $2 range. Like it's a great range. But that's mostly what's been happening here. So I'd rather the things that are clear, like AMD is trending and holding VWAP. Like holds VWAP there, dumps, bounces off VWAP and is trying to dump, and then MAR is doing the same pattern. So something which is at least trending in a direction makes a little bit more sense instead of this yo-yo kangaroo action, I guess it's being called. Kangaroo action we're seeing in the market. Walmart's distinctly different, and Costco, that's bull flagging. Well, it broke the bull flag. Now it can pull back into VWAP. I can get rid of those trend lines. I don't really need them anymore because we didn't actually chase that breakaway. And that's the problem with if you use trend lines, the reality is you can get a break of the trend, but it can be so extreme that your entry becomes too far away and you just can't take, I just can't take the fill because suddenly I'd be punching long with like a 70-cent stop and then my take profit is like 30 or 40 cents at first take. And it just doesn't really work. You're trying to get it with a tight break of that trend line. But VWAP is now sitting there for Walmart, up 2%. Costco's having a really good day in a weak market. So Costco and Walmart, they're just good stocks.
Yeah. What's up, Jojo? Thank you for your comments there. I am just not happy because, yeah, it ran VWAP basically the second time and we wound up getting out. So that's kind of disappointing for me, needless to say, there on the futures because we had this move. We had this whole move and we just got stopped out. And that's, you know, we talk about frustrations and, you know, when you are using, you know, some size there, it does make like one trade can make your whole day, right? And so that's disappointing there that we do miss that because this puts us in the stratosphere there if we still have this. And we would have scalped it out. So it's not like we would have the whole move, but we definitely would have held it back in there into the 50-period moving average. So too bad for that one. Fat Pipe yesterday, a couple days ago, had that crazy move. Now it's really settled down, only into $7 now. So Fat Pipe not doing too much. There was what, IOTR? I saw someone in the chat.
That's
said
one
there.
of two. There's another one.
Yeah, so this is open. So this is another. I cannot believe I got stopped out
and halted
$1 ago on these futures. Yeah, so right now IOTR right here. This is the name IOTR. Let me get that for you 1 second here. It is IO3. Is that right? IO3 limited right there. So yeah, opens up there. It looks like we get the open around 350 or so, up to 365. Looks like it halts down right now. So we'll wait to see when and if that gets going. Great trade on. I mean, great trade on Intel, but it's this one. We get stopped out $1 ago. We only had a couple hundred shares, not the end of the world, but at the, you know, we would have, that would have been a good trade. So we'll just hold on to it and not really worry too much about it. But there goes the TQs right back in. Maybe we'll just go long this time if it gets to 47. But that's a little bit embarrassing there because we had it, we talked about it, but there it goes, running VWAP. We could have used the 200 period, but when you look back at stocks, you're always like, I should have done that, I could have done this, but at the end of the day, we didn't do anything there. Apple, Apple, I mean, where was the call? The call on Apple was 194. That runs us as well, goes up to 195 and change. So now we need to wait for that. If anything's going to come back in, we had Google written down at, maybe that's going to be the bid now at 154. And then we did have NVIDIA obviously at 107 that we dropped because we thought the futures were going to collapse, which they were. And we just didn't want to be long NVIDIA and short the futures. But right now, man, the futures are right back in, getting lower, man, almost near the day's low as well for these. And again, embarrassing that we are not in this, but that's okay. okay. We will move on. We will go over money talks, and then we'll be back with, you guessed it, what's for lunch. Adara, kill him with kindness.
Not only is the U.S. dollar here at low of day, it's also really close to taking out support from last Thursday, a week from today, April 3rd. So lots of weakness here in the U.S. dollar. We did, in case you missed it today, we got a pretty key inflation report, CPI. So the consumer price index here, year over year, 2.4% versus 2.5% expected. CPI month over month, negative 0.1% versus positive 0.1% expected. Core CPI year over year, 2.8% versus 3% expected. And last but not least, core CPI 0.1% versus 0.3% expected. All of these prints coming in lower with we had a decrease here in a month over month basis for CPI month over month to -1. So negative number. Interesting look there. I think certainly something to be aware of. This CPI print certainly impacting this market in terms of the U.S. dollar market anyway. And here are the Fed futures. As of yesterday, we actually had about 20% of people here predicting that we would have this 25 basis point cut. 23.9% of participants currently expecting a 25 basis point cut at the next meeting. 76% of participants thinking we're going to hold rates steady. So we've seen a lot of oscillation in terms of these rate bets. Right now, though, 76% of participants expecting we're not going to get a cut. June, though, we do have 64.4% of participants expecting a 25 basis point cut. Another 18% expecting a 50 basis point cut. So overwhelmingly, we're seeing a trend where regardless of what this next meeting is kind of telling us, the May meeting, participants really expecting a cut in June. Back to you.
Which could be a good thing. I just took my little bit of a bottoming tail wick there. We just took out our AMD off of 89.5. Little buyer just sort of stepped in. I'm going to reload this one off of VWAP if we can get it. And I apologize to T-Money. I thought we got all the super chats in here. I know we had gotten the one from Music here, the Nor Bull, Neither Bear. But shout out to you, T-Money. Appreciate you. Appreciate all our viewers, of course, everybody. Tesla, you said 6 in the money. Apple, 2 in the money. And Q's, 100 handles in the money. So congratulations, T-Money. And sorry if we missed that for sure. Ali, we got to you as well. Appreciate you, Ali, and or all the super chats are welcome. Just hit that like, hit that subscribe, pay it forward. You know, if you're into the markets moving and you're into trading, then you found the right place, everybody. So regardless of how your day's been going, I think the trend is pretty much holding to the downside on a few names. It's been relatively clean. Some of them are all over the place, which I want to stay away from. We're just selling into VWAP on Mara and AMD. For right now, those are the two things that are setting up and have been working pretty cleanly so far.
All right. Yeah, thank you, T-Money. Wow, we should be in T-Money a lot today, in the money, that is for sure. But at least we got going here. What's for lunch? I mean, yeah, a little frustrating that we're not short everything because we were short everything. But that's okay. That is the market. At least Intel right now. Intel 20 cents in the money. I still feel like the way we've traded Intel has been absolutely fantastic over the last. I should just speak for myself. I think that we've been doing really well there on Intel. Although I was talking with Obi about Intel. Intel's a tough trade when it gets going because you always, and again, it's only if you use bigger size because Intel will give you that idea that you can like really level up and then all of a sudden it will whap you really quickly. Okay, let's do that one more time here. What's for lunch? All right, so today actually a good one. Today finally we get, I think the first like true lunch of the week. Today it's assorted sandwiches and we've highlighted here tuna, turkey with cranberry relish, that might be good. Some Montreal smoked meat apparently in here as well. We've got crudité with buttermilk ranch and hummus. And then we've got some dessert squares with some cookies. So not bad at all today. We say assorted sandwiches. We like that. Crudité, buttermilk ranch, and hummus. It's not bad. That's what's for lunch.
I'm taking, that's an A+. A+. Montreal smoked meat?
Yes, sir. That's
Montreal smoked meat that's that joint, but it's always about the mustard, man.
Yeah, it's always about the mustard. You gotta have good bread. You gotta have a nice rye bread on that.
Exactly. You can't go cheap on that. Like you're not making a grilled cheese where you just throw anything on the pan, but that's a big one. I love that Montreal smoked meat sandwich. There was a bit of a bounce here. So we keep talking about things that are fading off of the volume weighted average price in a little bit of a downtrend in the market. Nvidia is bouncing off of VWAP there. It was a fail on the long. It's mostly a flat trade because we got a bounce into VWAP and then got stopped out. But you're actually showing strength over here in NVIDIA. So NVIDIA, relative strength compared to most of the other chip names that I'm seeing. We'll see what happens. When it made that bounce, you got that same curl on AMD. It just found a buyer at 89.5. You can see this little kind of double bottom in there. But let's go to Adair. We have 5 minutes left to go. We've got apparently some news.
So here is Apple. You have to keep an eye on AAPL here. U.S. tariffs on China apparently now totaling 145% after the latest hike. This is reported by CNBC. They confirmed with the White House. We know that some of this tariff math has been a little bit of a source of confusion. When they first announced the 34% tariffs, it was actually led to a total of 54% tariffs. But apparently, regardless, with this latest hike, after all the tariff math has been said and done, White House reportedly telling CNBC, now U.S. tariffs on China, 145%. Keep an eye on Apple or any of these tariff-sensitive names here, without a doubt. Also, we still have Michelle Bowman right now being grilled alongside quite a few other bank-related nominees here as part of the Senate nomination committee. Of course, Michelle Bowman, already a Fed member, but she's being nominated to take over from Michael Barr as the vice chair for supervision. Currently just being asked where she's from, so nothing supermarket moving here, but if there's anything of note, I'll let you know. Back to you.
Are you asking any public official where they're from? Like, if you're a reporter, call Wikipedia. GameStop is still going higher. And one of the most, I don't want to call it boring, but it is just a very steady Eddie kind of move up. Like, it does a couple of green candles up and then a couple of green, couple red down. It's just nothing parabolic outside of the open, but it's holding on to trend very, very well. What I might do is, oh, no, never mind. What I was about to say was what I might do is pay for locates on AMC, and then the second GameStop breaks the trend, just short this sucker because it doesn't really have a reason to be up. But guess what? It's already stopped going. So GME just went another $1, and AMC stopped going. This is why you don't necessarily assume that that relationship holds anymore. What's a flat bottom break? No, this isn't a flat bottom break on AMC. It just broke. It just lost the high.
I don't even have that button.
Now, GME's going and AMC is not. Someone in the chat, Jameson, just mentioned Oxy's down 8%. Oil's getting punked again today.
Oh, good.
So oil's down 5%, oil futures. Clearly, I mean, everything comes out of China. So when the trade war is still on with China, you're going to have some potential demand issues, and that's really dragging down all of the energy names. I keep saying I want to get into more XLE or want to get into more Chevron, and just nothing about any of these charts is looking any good. So down 9% on Oxy. The good news is it's still holding on to yesterday's low, and if it gets there, maybe you get an SSR bounce on Occidental Petroleum. Yeah, but you can look across the board for these names. It's not just, like, I'm not picking on Oxy. Like, I own shares of CVX, and they're down 5 points today. And there's nothing about it that looks like they're catching a bid. So not a very good day for oil futures. The demand issue could be a bit of a thing. You're going to need a resolution, I think, before it gets any better there. So I'm still waiting for 11.25, the absolute bottom on Mara. We're just reloading that one short every chance we get. Everything is breaking lower here. Apple just broke 190, except for NVIDIA holding on to VWAP. That's about it.
All right, Apple broke 190. Yeah, that would be great to be short on that one. All right, so, oh yeah, there goes Apple right there. All right, so we're just going to be more specific with what we're trying to do here, and then give ourselves a little bit more room, because again, today's a new day, right? I mean, we talked about how the market's going to move up and down, and for us today, we had written down here on the sticky note, Apple 194 short, NVIDIA 107 long, TQ's right here 47 long. So we're going to try that right now on the futures. So we're going to sit here. I'm actually bidding 05s. We'll see if we can get that fill right now as it's coming back in, right? The futures have been down here before. Let's see if we can buy. Okay, well, now we're in 05. So here we go. We've got a position on. We're going to try to play it against the lows. We said that we would give it a little bit more room every time. So those lows are in right now. I have a stop out breaking through 80s. Let's see if that winds up happening or not. We're now long the Qs, which is just crazy because we were short $1.50 ago. So boom, right now to the downside goes the NASDAQ right now. I mean, we have more shares in the NASDAQ or in the futures than we do right now in Intel, but Intel's been a great trade. Obviously, we shorted VWAP there. That wound up working out nicely for us as we wait to see if we get a 16 bid soon. Hopefully, we'll flush back in and get, wow, we missed it, but that's okay. We'll still bid that right now. All right, yeah, we're just getting the same stories that Adara's given to us here already. 145% on the tariff side of things for China. So, all right, we're long at 47.05. Let's see if it wants to work, man. We could get something out at 35 or 30s if it does come back up here. But right now, there we go. We're bleeding lower here. I guess the market, and we took a shot, so I guess the market right now does not like sort of that tariff increase there on China. And no surprise if they don't like it, Neil, because that's a little bit of an aggressive move.
It's a little aggressive. It's a bit, like, as some people like to say, it's a bit much.
It's a bit much.
But a trader sent this note to me that was interesting because I would just basically say, like, I'm not pro-China. I don't think any trader I know is like consider themselves that. But he's kind of more sympathetic than others. And he said Trump is playing, quote, 3D chess with China to have isolated them. So I think he does mean business against China, and the market doesn't seem to like that. I hate the fact that it's killing the energy markets, but there's nothing you can do about it. The relief rally is being pulled back. Walmart just lost VWAP. The market's kind of heading back into lows. Even the strong stocks are starting to come back in here. I'd even consider maybe it's a time to fade that GME because it was going up for no reason. But let's go. It's 11 o'clock. We'll be back at 2.
Wow.
We've got Sharif. We've got Joseph, Joey Options. Go get them, everybody. It's Learn to Trade.
Didn't realize the time.
I had no idea what that was. Bro, I figured I got to put the 93 in.
Greetings and salutations, beautiful people.